high school football media days for East Alabama. Second day, had a special day. My brother and friend Jerry Bavaro.
How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good. I'm Eddie Owen. We're here with you again today. We do the sports. Well, let's see what do we call it? The high school scoreboard show on Friday nights on WKKR 97.7 Kicker FM. I'll get in trouble for saying WKKR. We don't do that anymore. But Jerry and I have been doing it for a long time, and we enjoy high school football probably as much as any other sport. Of course, Jerry's sport that he does most is his job, so golf.
Yeah, high school football is my pride and joy. I love it. So if you're driving home from a game and you need a score, turn us over because we get all the scores in as soon as we can. And a lot of coaches already told us that when they're driving back from their game, they call and see if their rivals won or lost. So if you need to score, give us a call.
Yeah, you give us a call, and we'll talk to you about what's going on in the area. And we talk to people all over the state, actually. And since we're on the web, we have people call from different places in the country and in the world. This event is made possible by the Orthopedic Clinic. Orthopedic Clinic is East Alabama's go-to center for orthopedic care. We're also sponsored by Frederick Dean Funeral Home, Economy Heat and Air, Auburn Bank, Butcher Paper Barbecue, and Jeff Coat Trent Funeral Home. Of course, we're live on 9:10 a.m., 1310 a.m., Fox Sports The Game. We're also live on WOTM television, and if you want to see what happened yesterday, you can go to the Facebook page of Kicker FM, and it is kickerfm.com, and you get to see me do a lot of this. I noticed that I did a lot of that because the stage is actually right up here, and Jerry and I have to look to the left to see what's going on up there. Jerry, what do you think about the lineup today? We've got a team coming in here that we've been wanting to have but has not come in the past.
Glad to see Benjamin Russell coming down. We have a lot of callers and a lot of listeners from there. Benjamin Russell's been a school that's won a couple of state championships. They produce good football, a lot of Power 5 recruits. So we're glad to have them.
You know, they're in the same situation as one of the coaches talked about yesterday where every 2 years they seem to bounce from a northern region to a southern region and back and forth. Well, this year they're out of the region with Opelika. They've gone to a more northern region. So a rivalry that's been very, very big for Opelika and Benjamin Russell through the years has ended for a while. It's been good for both teams, but Opelika's had the edge over the past few years.
They have, but Benjamin Russell always gives them a game, and I remember that one game they beat Opelika 3-0. Opelika was a heavy favorite. They play good football there, and we're glad to have them and looking forward to seeing what their coach thinks they have coming back this year.
We're also very fortunate to have Dadeville and Reeltown from that area up there. There's not a lot of television coverage for that area, and we're proud to have all of them here. And, you know, we also have the perennials that are here. Opelika will be here, and they'll end up the show today. And and here we go. We're going up to the podium to D. Mark Mitchell.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to our listeners on Fox Sports The Game 910 1310 and our TV audience either on Facebook Live or WOTM TV. We're glad to have everybody here. Thank you for being here, media. We've got them from all over Columbus to Montgomery and all in between. Opelika Auburn News and, of course, our local papers and TV stations. And we certainly appreciate y'all being here first and foremost to cover the sport. Like Coach Savarese said yesterday, there's a message. It's a positive message, and I'm glad you're here to promote that. We're also glad to have our coaches and our players. What a great opportunity to talk something positive during the midst of a lot of negatives. So these young men have been working the last few weeks to get in shape, and these coaches have been working a lot, putting in plans that they've never had to do before, and it didn't have anything to do about beating an opponent. It had all to do with beating a virus that's unknown. So as Coach Savarese said yesterday, that how important they've been to opening up football. I do want to remind you tomorrow there's a big press conference with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. As you know, the Central Board of Control is meeting today all day, and the council will meet as well. And tomorrow there will be a press conference. I believe it's 1 o'clock. I think that's correct. And we'll have that right here on WOTM TV Live. And, of course, we'll be carrying on Fox Sports, the Game 9-10-13-10 Live. That will be where Coach Savarese unveils his plan. And, of course, I want to thank him for coming up yesterday. That was a prior commitment. I appreciate Coach honoring that. I've known him for a long time, back when he was coaching at Benjamin Russell in the 80s. So it means a lot that he came up, and I think he kind of gave us a little insight on what maybe his thoughts were moving forward, and I was glad he did that. To lead off our today's media day, it's when you talk about football, certainly in East Alabama, you always have to talk about health and well-being of the athlete. And the orthopedic clinic, they're the title sponsor. The orthopedic clinic is more than just a group of orthopedic doctors. They care about high school sports, not just football, but all of them. And they have an incredible sports medicine program. Terry Rosenthal, who is now the CEO, started that program. John Rich, who I'm fixing to introduce, is carrying that on a Friday night. He can tell you how many schools they cover. But there's doctors at many high schools locally on the sidelines. Doctors have a tough life, in their profession with surgery and seeing patients. But on Friday night, they're at a football game. A lot of them are helping these athletes. Hope they don't have to help them, but if something happens, they're there. And they don't get paid, nor do they want to get paid. For years, the orthopedic clinic did a lot with physicals for schools. They've done so much, and I'll let John talk about that. But I did want to mention that the orthopedic clinic in our area is the leader in sports medicine and orthopedics, and we appreciate what John and Terry and all the doctors at the orthopedic clinic do for us and the athletes and everybody in East Alabama. So I've got the director of sports medicine at the orthopedic clinic. He's been around a long time. He's a great guy, Mr. John Rich. Come on up, John.
Thank you. I just want to thank iHeartRadio for putting this great event on and allowing us to sponsor something like this. Like D-Mark said, we've been involved in high school athletics for a very long time. The clinic's been in business since 1976, and our orthopedic surgeons have given me a blessing to run this program and put it on, and we cover 13 high schools in the East Alabama area, providing athletic training services and sports medicine care. Like D-Mark said, not only on Friday nights for all the athletic programs at all the various high schools that we cover in the area. And so I just want to thank the media for coming out and supporting these kids. We look forward to getting back on the football field on Friday nights, and hopefully everything can get back to a little bit of normalcy here, especially in the East Alabama area. And we just look to continue to support these kids and support these schools moving forward. So I just want to thank you all for doing this and allowing us to be a part of it.
All right, John, I wanted you to do me a favor. I know, unfortunately, after a game on Friday night, you guys, and I say unfortunately, somebody may get hurt. You guys have a Saturday morning clinic. If you'll expand on that a little bit about what goes on Saturday mornings at the clinic. Yes,
during football season on Saturday mornings, we offer an injury clinic. Anyone that gets hurt on Friday nights, it doesn't even have to be a football player. It could be an athlete from throughout the week. We have a doctor on call that comes in and sees our athletes. We provide X-ray, MRI, and physical therapy all in-house, and all three of those entities are available on Saturday morning as well. So if a kid unfortunately is injured, we have a pretty quick turnaround on some answers for what's going on.
Can you name your schools? Can you name them all? Is that putting you on the spot?
That's putting me on the spot a little bit, but we cover Auburn, Opelika, Lee Scott, Russell County, Valley, Handley, Randolph County, Lynette, Wadley, Woodland, Trinity Christian School, and
I hated to do that, John. You'll get it. That's okay.
I think that's pretty close to what we covered.
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew the amount that you do. And you also, these are trainers that you have on site there, right?
Yes, we provide full-time athletic trainers and some graduate students that are enrolled at Auburn University and provide athletic training services to some of our high schools.
And they don't just do football, right?
No, they're there to provide athletic training services for the whole athletic department at that school.
All right. Does anybody else got any want to ask those guys questions? John, we appreciate what the orthopedic clinic means to our area and what you do for high school athletics. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for sponsoring the event, too.
Sir.
We're live on 910 a.m., 1310 a.m., The Game, and WOTM TV. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Dadeville.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel line.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Youth suicide. Don't want to talk about it? You should. Hi, I'm Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama. 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide have given clear warning signs. By knowing the warning signs associated with suicide and knowing how to help, you could save a life. Visit jasonfoundation.com and start learning how you can make a difference.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing, it's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people. Avoid crowds. Stay home if you can. Wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back to the second day of the third annual High School Football Media Days for East Alabama, presented by Orthopedic Clinic. My brother and friend Jerry Bavaro and I are here again with you today. Jerry, we got an interesting situation here today. Yesterday we had a lot of first-year coaches.
We did, 5.
Today we only have 1. The interesting thing about this is he is taking the place of a coach that coached at Dadeville for 30-plus years. And how hard is that to take over for somebody that's been there so long?
Yeah, it is, but they got a good coach. He turned around a program in Carroll that's been down for many years and got them to be one of the better teams in that region. They got them a good coach, and they'll be okay.
Okay, and Roger McDonald will be coming to the podium in just a minute. And we're going to go to the podium right now. And Van Riggs.
All right, welcome back. Fox Sports 910, 1310 a.m. The Games, high school football media days. We're pleased to kick things off this morning with our first football coach, another new coach to the area somewhat, who's actually coached in the area before, but most recently was coaching at Carroll of Ozark, where he spent 7 years, won a couple of region championships. Before that, spent some time at Valley and also at Beauregard, entering his 16th season as a head coach. Known to many in the area as just Coach Raj. From Dadeville High School, please welcome Coach Roger McDonald.
Glad to be here. The only person that says that, Coach Raj, is DeMark Mitchell. Nobody else says that. So anyway, but that's because I've known him all my life and running around the gym when I was a little kid about 45 years ago. See Coach Washburn up there, and good to see him. Glad to be here, and this is a great event y'all have. While I was at Ozark, they did a similar setup like this, but this is much more SEC Media Day look-alike, and this is outstanding right here. And I had actually watched it on the computer in the past couple of years because we would play a few people from this area, so I'd want to see what they had to say. But I'm glad to be back home. You know, I've spent my whole career, except for 7 years, in this area as a coach and a player. A lot of special memories. Talking about the Opelika train coming by. I can think all the way back 30-something years ago as a player when we would play Opelika. You know, it didn't matter if the game was going on. That train was so loud at Opelika. You'd hear it on the field as a player, and then as assistant coach later on, you always heard the train there in Opelika. But I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back this area. I had 7 good years. We had a good situation in Ozark. We got things turned around. It was a tough job, but you know, at one time we had about 25 straight regular season wins, and it's just the same formula that we've used everywhere that I've been. It's what I was raised on as a player and a young coach: strength and conditioning, and being physical, and you know, being committed to running the football, being tough, and being good on defense. And it's just the same formula that's always won for everybody, pretty much. And, you know, I'm not very smart, so I kind of have to do the only thing I know to do. And, you know, it's strange how in sports you learn things, especially coaching. You know, I think about the fact that my first paid job, I was offensive line coach at Hanley High School in Roanoke. And I had learned as a young assistant how to coach offensive line from Amici Phipps, who played for Coach Washburn at Lynette. And then, you know, and Coach Washburn, his first job as an assistant, he coached for Coach Lockridge at Valley High. And, you know, and things just, it's an ongoing cycle. And I've been blessed as a coach, the people I had the opportunity to learn from as a player and an assistant coach. You know, the good Lord blessed me to be in the right place and work for a lot of outstanding coaches. And they were all cut from the same cloth. And it was tough, hard-nosed football. And these kids are going to find out we didn't have spring. They're going to find out we practice a little different probably than the way most people practice in this day and time, except Coach Mark Rose up there. I guess that's why they got me and him in here at the same time. But we're going to practice a little bit different. We won't be out there throwing it around 75 times a day at practice. And that guideline the High School Athletic Association has given people for being physical and when you can hit, you know, they leave it real broad, like your time limits on hitting. Well, to me, a play don't take but about 7 seconds. So if I got only 7 seconds, I can do a lot of hitting for that 40 minutes if I'm only counting 7 seconds of contact when we're running a play in scrimmage or half line or inside drill. So I've warned the kids. I've told them, I said, it's going to be different. And I think they see by what we've done this summer with the strength and conditioning program that it's going to be a little different. Now, I say that, but I also want to say they've had an outstanding head football coach in Richard White at Dadeville High School. Won well over 100 games. Man, they've had some deep runs in the playoffs, some undefeated seasons, and he's a close personal friend of mine. And he really pushed for me to come take this job, and he pushed for me in the community. And it says a lot, somebody that's where he played and coached. And that's his home. So for him to push for me to have the job, felt like I've done a good job in my career to have somebody like him that wanted that. But you know, it's a change in philosophy as far as scheme-wise on offense and defense. It'll be a change, and that's the big thing. But you know, that's how I coach. And like I said, I don't know any other way. I'll tell you what, we've inherited a group of kids that are hungry. I mean, when we showed up first day that they'd been out of school, and we were having a meeting trying to let kids know on social media and what time the meeting we had almost 50 kids show up that day. And so we've averaged about 46 kids show up 3 days a week. We go 3 days. They can come 2 sessions. We've averaged about 46 kids a day for workouts. And, I mean, it's 2 hours that we get after them. You know, they're in the weight room for an hour and they're outside doing plyos and agilities and flipping tires and pushing sleds and running for an hour. So they have came in excited. And I'm proud of how hard they work, because the situation we're in, you know, we've been going all summer and you really don't know. People say we're going to play. They say we're going to do this, do that, but nobody knows what's really going to happen. So they've kind of had to have a blind faith and trust that they're going to get an opportunity for all this work to pay off. And I couldn't ask for any more. But, you know, a couple of things, taking new jobs. I've taken other jobs, and there's been times I've showed up and the keys were laying on the desk, and that was the most help you got. You figured it out yourself. And but the good thing about coming to Dadeville, Coach White was there, able to introduce me to the people, show me the daily routines, the things that go on. And there is a lot of pride and a lot of tradition in Dadeville. Dadeville's won. They've always won, and they've always had success. There's been times they've had down years, but it's never lasted. And that was the good thing about it. I knew going to Dadeville, we'll win. It may take a little time, but we're going to win. You're going to be competitive, because these kids understand the pride and tradition. I mean, they just watched Anthony Jennings, you know, play at Alabama and get drafted. So you know what type players you're going to have. It's a lot different than the situation I went to the last 7 years, went to school and never won, and hadn't won in years. So, you know, you got good things and bad things when you take a new job. They're also in the process of getting us a new field house built. We don't have our field house is not very big, and you can't get many kids in the weight room. But we make it work. But they're committed. Tallapoosa County Schools, they're committed, and you know, the superintendent's office, administration at Dadeville High School, they're committed to it, and the community is excited. And it's been hard to get out and meet a lot of people under the situations with this virus, but still have been able to meet a lot of people, and they're excited, and they care about the school, and they care about the football program. So, you know, that's a good thing. When you go somewhere that is really not important, they may not bother you much, but you're not going to get the things you need to be successful, and it takes the time to sell everybody. While my job in Dadeville, the hardest sell is going to be these players, the type practices that we're going to have, and changing the philosophy a little bit, because the community is excited. They want you to win. They expect you to win, so you don't have to sell the community. And so that's one of the big things about moving. Like I said, I think this is the 4th head job I've had, and we'll just use the same formula and not change a whole lot. And we only have 4 seniors. I have 4 seniors. And look, I had to look in the football program from last year. This is, you know, when you took over and they were out of school, and I saw in there they only had 4 seniors. I said, well, that's good and that's bad. The good thing is these young kids will have more time to learn what we're doing, and you know, we're going to have a great junior class. 2 of these guys are juniors, and one's going to be a sophomore. So you got a good group coming. The bad thing is, you know, I've always heard, you got to have good seniors to win, and seniors are usually going to be your leaders. The situation we're in, we don't have a choice, but some of these young kids underclassmen are going to have to fill that role because they're just not. I mean, that's all we have. 4 seniors, and I think 3 of them have started, but I feel good about things. We're in a pretty tough region. Reeltown moving up from 2A. Great traditional rival. It don't matter what the record is. You all know over the years, Dadeville and Reeltown are always competitive. It doesn't matter. But when you add that to a region game, it sort of multiplies what it matters. And so then, Montgomery Catholic, everybody's got them picked to probably be the best team in the region right now. When you can get them from all over Montgomery, I guess you should have the advantage. But I ain't gonna hold back. I've been doing it too long. What they do ain't right, and they always gonna do it. So they ain't gonna stop it. So we just have to live with it. But anyway, our region it'll be a tough region from top to bottom. Pike County will be a good, solid program. They had an outstanding team last year, but graduated a lot of seniors. We'll go to Goshen, so we got 2 long road trips in our region. Trinity's in there, then Beulah and Childersburg. So it'll be a tough region. But I believe these kids, when we put those pads on, that's when the rubber meets the road. Everything's good when you're flipping tires and doing all this stuff we're doing. Everybody works hard. But when you put that helmet on and it's 100 degrees out there, that's when the rubber meets the road. And that's when we're going to find out, because some that you think are players are not players when they put on the pads, because there's nowhere to hide out there. And so we're going to find out. But I do feel like if they transfer what they've done this summer, once we get in pads and we get the same kind of effort, I think we're going to be fine and we're going to be competitive. And I know at some point we're going to have a chance to have a good football program at Dadeville High School. But I feel like if things go well, and like I said, if we transfer it over, it could be sooner than later. And I'm going to introduce these guys, and then if y'all want to ask questions to me or them, however we need to do this, we will. I got Lane Smith. Lane is quarterback. He was starting quarterback last year. He's going to be a junior. I got Vontae Wilson right here. Vontae's going to be a sophomore. He's inside linebacker, and he's moving to tight end on offense. They don't know what a tight end is because they hadn't had one in the spread. So I said, our tight end will be with their hand in the dirt, and they're going to block, and we'll throw some bootleg play-action stuff to them. But you won't be spread out there wide standing up. You're going to be down in 3-point stance blocking. Jordan Parker, defensive end, and also another tight end. And like I said, I had to explain to him what a tight end is for us. It'll be a little bit different. And then that's my son, Will, down on the end. I brought Will with us today, and Will's going to be in the 4th grade. And he said this was going to be boring, but I told him it would be exciting. So he wanted to know why DeMark didn't have any breakfast ready for him. That's what he wanted to know. So with me rambling on long enough, I guess we'll take questions, and then however we need to do this thing, we'll do.
All right, Coach, I'm excited. I'm ready to play for Dadeville right now. All right, here we got our first question.
Coach, your offensive philosophy, you can have the quarterback under center, or do you ever run any shotgun?
Yeah, when we're punting, we'll be in shotgun.
That's a good.
Now, look, the good thing about this, yes, we're going to be under center, and we'll have 2 tight ends there a lot of times. And there'll be times we'll have 3 backs back there. But we'll base out of I formation. But the good thing about the fact that they've been in the spread for probably the last 8-9 years, we are going to keep a few of the spread concepts. But it'll really be to add to our 2-minute offense, to utilize the fact that we have a quarterback can throw the ball a little bit, and do some things like that. But we will be committed to being under center, running the football, being physical. And I know, I've seen it. I've seen it for the last 20 years since the spread started, and especially in the high school level. You can win games. People think doing what we do that we're huge up front. But I've not had that luxury everywhere I've been. But the fact that we double team everybody at the point of attack, we get a lot of angles, we commit to run the football, and we're forcing those guys on defense to make those pass defenders come up there and play in the box and be run defenders, and they don't like it. Because what I think is the worst thing that ever happened to high school football is 7-on-7. It should be outlawed because it has ruined high school football. Football's not 7-on-7, but we've almost ruined it by doing that. We've taken away the fact that a 185-pound guard that works his tail off can still play in a high school football game because he'll fire out and he'll block somebody. But we've made 7-on-7, and I never want it to turn into that. So I'm not. If it gets to the point where I have to be a 7-on-7 coach, I'll go work at Walmart as a greeter. And because I'm going to give us the best chance to win. And we're going to do something different, and it is different. But I'm telling you, those guys on the other side, when we're on offense, they don't like it. Because they want to play pass. They want to play 7-on-7. And the front, all they want to do is tee off and rush the quarterback. Well, they're going to have to play fundamental football against us and stop the run. And then that's when we use bootleg stuff, play action stuff, three-step stuff. But we're going to play football the way it was meant to be played. I mean, that's what I'm going to do and what I believe in.
Question for all three of the players, so y'all can just take turns at the podium. But, Roger, you mentioned the Reeltown rivalry. What does the rivalry mean to each of you, and how much is there a little added extra knowing it's a region game this year?
All right, guys, y'all can just take turns heading to the podium.
Yes, please.
Yeah, just the fact that the Reeltown is such a big rivalry for you guys. What does that rivalry mean to you, and how much is there even extra on that game now that it's a region game?
I mean, we just we like to beat Reeltown every year, and they've always been pretty close. And now that it's a region game, it's even more important to beat them. It helps us go to the playoff.
Well, I always wanted to beat Reeltown anyway, so I'm even more happier that it's a region game, so it'll be more important to beat them now.
Hey, while you're up there, I want to ask you, what is it like being a tight end now? You like it?
Yes, sir. Even if I didn't like it, he was going to make me play it anyway.
It means a lot, and since it's a region game, it's adding a lot of attention to the game. A lot of people in my neighborhood are from Reeltown, so they stop by and talk a little bit about it.
All right, hang on. D-Mark Mitchell?
Yeah, guys, I know that y'all played for Coach White last year. Tell me what you think about Coach McDonald so far. Let's go reverse order. Come over here, you start. Be honest now. He can't do anything right now, okay?
He's pretty. He wants to win just like we want to win, so that's the main part. It's a good offense. I think it's going to be like a good scheme we're running, too, so it'll be all right.
He doesn't want to run sprints.
Well, he loves contact, and I like contact too, so he's a very good coach too, and he loves to motivate us, so he's a good coach.
We love him. He's a good motivator, and he's got everybody working hard this summer.
All right, that's a heck of a kickoff, I think, for today. Coach White, good luck. McDonald, not White. Coach McDonald, good luck. We appreciate y'all being here.
And we're live on 910 AM, 1310 AM, the game, and WOTM TV. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with a special guest.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel line.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Oxstrong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Youth suicide. Don't want to talk about it? You should. Hi, I'm Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama. 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide have given clear warning signs. By knowing the warning signs associated with suicide and knowing how to help, you could save a life. Visit jasonfoundation.com and start learning how you can make a difference.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing, it's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people, avoid crowds, stay home if you can, wash your hands frequently, learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back to the 3rd annual High School Media Days. We're at the Event Center in downtown Opelika, brought to you by Orthopedic Clinic. We're live on 9:10 a.m., 13:10 a.m., The Game, and WOTM Television. Jerry, we have a legend in Alabama football sitting with us right now. You know, one of the things that I want to say before we start asking Coach Washburn, this is Coach Dan Washburn, coached football, played football at Lynette. Is that correct, Coach?
No, I played at Lafayette.
Lafayette, I'm so sorry.
Played at Lafayette and coached at Lynette about 15 years, yeah.
He is one of the legends in Alabama football because he held a position that only 3 men have held in the state of Alabama. And Alabama has one of the best high school football systems in the country. Coach, tell us a little bit about the leadership through the years at AHSAA.
Well, I was fortunate to have the opportunity to go to Montgomery in 1990, following the legendary Herman L. Bubba Scott as executive director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Before him was Cliff Harper. Not many left alive that still know Mr. Harper, but I did, and I coached at Valley High School with Doug Lockridge, Coach Lockridge, one of my mentors whenever Mr. Harper was executive director. But it was Mr. Harper and Mr. Bubba Scott, and then I followed him, and now Steve Savarese is the 4th executive director, and Steve's doing a super great job, and I'm so proud of him. He came on in 2007 when I retired. That's some 13 years ago. And I hope he stays a long time. He's not talking that way, but I hope he can stay on a few more years. But moving to Montgomery and moving from Lynette, I was superintendent of education the last 7 years at Lynette, and served on Mr. Scott's Central Board of Control for about 4 years, and on the Legislative Council for much longer than that, and had an opportunity to see how the organization worked, to understand the politics involved and how the system was set up with 8 districts throughout the state, and each district is represented on a legislative council. Then there were 4 members from each district making up a 32-member legislative council, and that's a body that made the rules. When you say the schools make the rules, indeed they do. Representatives from schools all over the state, from Huntsville to Mobile, from Tuscaloosa in the west to Dothan in the east, make up all the rules, and the schools abide by them. And when Mr. Savarese had to go through a very sticky situation out of Charles Henderson High School, and I went through several of those where the rules were upheld. He simply upheld the rules made by the schools. And that's what you talk about the leadership. It's so many, it's a business of relationships you build throughout your tenure. When I came on board in 1990, the state playoffs were all back at the individual schools, and some of those sites were not good. And we began to look at that, and I was called to Birmingham in about 93. A group up there out of the Birmingham Tip-Off Club, a basketball support group there. And, the movers and shakers in Birmingham, I mean, powerful people there, wanted to bring they had an idea to bring the Tournament of Champions together. They wanted to bring the 6 winners out of the state basketball playoffs together and have a tournament with 6 teams and just come out with 1 winner. Well, I immediately told them that wasn't going to happen. We had 6 happy folks, and I wasn't going to make 5 of them mad, and I didn't think it would draw many people anyway. I said, if you want to do something that's earth-shaking, let's think about a Final Four concept where we set regions, 4 big region basketball tournaments out in the state, and we bring 4 out of those regions to the Final Four in Birmingham. And he said, what we need to do, I said, you need to raise about $200,000 right to start with. We need $450,000 sponsors. Of course, it's much more than that now, but and we increased it later. But hey, they went to work. In about 6 weeks, they had them. And Alabama Power and Coca-Cola and Health South, and I can't think of the other ones. A bank, I think, a Regions Bank. And man, we were off and running with the Final Four in basketball. And I said, they won't work except one way. It's not going to be a Final Four just in boys. We got to bring the girls together too. And it took off. I got a lot of criticism for that. A lot of the old heads didn't want that. They didn't want to, if you can remember back, Jerry, you may remember that every year it was in Tuscaloosa, It went to Memorial Coliseum, and you had that's what everybody looked forward to. But this was going to be at the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center, and indeed we came in there, and the first nobody really in South Alabama understood girls basketball. North Alabama girls basketball really carried a lot of the athletic programs with the crowds they had. We brought those teams in here from South and from North Alabama, and it really took off. It was a tremendous success to start with. In '94 we started the basketball. '96 the Birmingham Tip-Off, the Birmingham Quarterback Club, the football support group there, came to me. Robbie Robinson out of Birmingham and ran the Colonnade marketing group. Took it under his wing and came to us. And I took it to the Central Border Control. And make a long story short, we started there with '94 with the basketball, '96 with the football, and it blossomed to every sport. Before I left the office in '07 was at a neutral site, from volleyball to softball in Birmingham, baseball in Birmingham, and Riverwalk Park, and at the stadium there, great stadium for baseball, and all of it came together as a neutral site. Those great sponsors that have followed Steve, and Steve has been a super. He's come on board and made that thing, took it to a new level. I mean, it really has, bringing it to Alabama and Auburn campus. That was the right move at the right time to get out of Legion Field, and so it all worked out. And you talk about leadership, it's not a single man can do it. You got relationships with people. You build those relationships, you build those friendships, and it goes from there. And man, it was a great ride for 17 years, from
Well, Coach, we've been
2007.
We've been real lucky to have you, and we appreciate you talking with us. We ready, Van?
Okay, we're getting ready for Russell County to come up. It's been an honor to have you with us today. A lot of people don't understand what has happened in the state of Alabama and high school sports. And like I said, I made a mistake. There actually been 4 executive directors. Right. But we're sitting with one of the best ever. And like you said, Coach Savarese has come in, and he's not built something new. He has expanded
he done
on
a
something.
great job. He and the boards and the people he's worked with have done such a super job. I'm so proud of them.
Well, thank you so much, Coach Washburn, for being with us today. And you've meant so much to high school football. And if any of you don't know this, he may not want me to say this, but one of his beautiful daughters is married to a local coach, and I'm not going to say who it is, but we're really proud that
I may stick around here with him this morning if he comes on this morning. I think he does.
He was here yesterday.
Oh, was he? Okay.
He's a good golfer too, Bob. I'm gonna plug that in for him too.
And we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel line.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Youth suicide. Don't want to talk about it? You should. Hi, I'm Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama. 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide have given clear warning signs. By knowing the warning signs associated with suicide and knowing how to help, you could save a life. Visit jasonfoundation.com and start learning how you can make a difference.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing. It's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people, avoid crowds, stay home if you can, wash your hands frequently, learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
welcome back to the 3rd annual High School Media Days at the Event Center in downtown Opelika, Alabama. We are very proud to be here again this year. First 2 years we were over at Southern Union, and we're at a beautiful facility in downtown Opelika right now. We are live on 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game, and WOTM television. Jerry, we have a guy coming up now that's a legend in these parts. Has coached at Tallahassee High and Smith Station, among others. Has come in, and last year was the first time that their school was here, but he wasn't able to be here, so it's the first time we'll see Coach Rose. And
Coach Rose is a proven winner. He's got 175 wins in his career, so he knows how to win. He's going to turn around this program, and just like Coach McDonald, they play hard-nosed football. They're going to run at you and man-to-man, and biggest man's going to win.
Well, let's go to the podium with D. Mark Mitchell.
Thank you, Eddie, and thank you all our listeners. Welcome back to the High School Media Days, presented by the Orthopedic Clinic. And I also want to mention our presenting sponsors, Jeff Coat Trent Funeral Home, Butcher Paper Barbecue, Auburn Bank, Economy Heating and Air, and Frederick Dean Funeral Home. Those folks and the good folks at the Orthopedic Clinic made this possible. Our next coach, I've known him for quite a while. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. He took over a Smith Station program many years ago. What year was that, Coach? 08. And I'd been broadcasting for Opelika for 30-plus years, and Smith Station was one of the opponents, and they've always had good football. But when Coach Rose took over, I saw an immediate change in everything, and he did an incredible job at Smith Station, and I got to meet him there, and I think of the world of him. And he went to North Alabama, and now he's back in our area at Russell County. And without a shadow of a doubt, Coach Rose is going to do a good job, as he did last year. So I want to bring to the microphone a good man who loves kids and certainly is a daggum good person and a good football coach, my good friend Mark Rose.
Thank you, D. Mark. This guy's done an awful lot for a lot of kids for a long time as well, and we certainly appreciate him. Got a couple hard acts to follow. I've been known Coach McDonald probably 25, 30 years. He does a great job. I told him if he hung around, we probably could scrimmage right in here before we left. But then Coach Washburn is a legend in this state. Love him, respect him. He's been a mentor of mine and still a great friend to this day. So it was great to see him. We're excited that Russell County, the Warrior Nation, is wound up down there, and starts at the top with Dr. Brenda Coley. She's the best superintendent I've ever been associated with. She's hired all kind of folks for us down there, brought us in a great staff. We have a new principal, Miss Tanya Keene. Her daddy was Cody Keene Sr., great coach in this state for a long time. We're certainly glad to have her, and she knows what athletics means to all our kids. Will do a great job. My assistant head coach is Big Brandon Hall, we got from Central Phoenix City last year when I came in. A great player in college and some NFL, and he's the best D-line coach in the state of Alabama. He's my assistant head coach, and Clinton Britton's my defensive coordinator. They work well together, and I've known Clinton a long time, coached with him before. And then Cody Keene Jr. is my offensive coordinator. We have many other coaches that do a great job. All of them that bought in. They love our kids, and our kids love them. And I'll talk a little bit more about Coach Justin Mitchell here in a little while. He's our middle school coach. I want to talk about some returning personnel. We have 17, 18 starters back. A lot of guys that have played a lot of football. Starts on offense with Xavier Loki. He is probably was our best all-around player on both sides of the ball, about 800 yards rushing, and played really well at safety. Another big back, young guy that's come on, we're looking for big things out of, is Jabari Jordan. So he'll be playing at tailback as well. DJ Griffin started as a 10th grader. last year at our quarterback spot, and he had an outstanding year. So we'll have an experienced quarterback with him. Up front, Morgan White and Damian Porter started about every game last year, and we'll have some other guys, Dazell Pridgett, Mike Williams Jr., and Kamari Long, and a lot of other guys in there fighting for spots on the offensive front. We'll be a little young there, but we've got a lot of guys that'll come in there and scrap with you. Returning guys at tight end, Omar Rogers, Jameer Willis, Jalen Davis, all of them either started or rotated in at those 2 tight end spots last year. Jordan Williams is a young guy that we really like that will certainly give us a lot of snaps as well. Wide receivers, we got Dajian Jackson. He came on late in the year with a lot of big plays and had a little discipline issue at the start of the year, but I'm more proud of how he's developed as a person. He's been a great, solid person ever since our initial situation, and I'm really proud of how he's developed. He's here today. Adam Depew's a baseball guy we really like. He's doing some punting, kicking, receiver, working him on defense as well. Young guy, we got A.J. Black. Expect him to be a playmaker on offense. He's one of our backup quarterbacks. He's a slot receiver. He kind of be a do-it-all guy that we expect a lot out of. And then a newcomer moved in from Michigan, Apprentice Woods. We're going all the way to Michigan to get him now, D-Mark. But, no, he's got a lot of ability. He'd be a senior, and we're looking for him to help. Marion Lawson had a lot of big plays in our wing-back double handoff last year. He'll be back and be a junior. And then Tyreek York plays in there. He plays anywhere we need him. He's here today and one of our top leaders. Defensively, it starts with Tyreek. He was our leading tackler last year. He's a full-speed player, and he leads by example. Doesn't say a whole lot, but he's full speed every play since I've been there, and we count big on him to be a leader. Jameer Willis is a big inside linebacker. Played a bunch as a 10th grader last year, and we expect big things out of him. Outside linebacker, we got a lot of guys in the mix, but 2 guys that played a lot of ball last year, Jalen Davis and Logan Stewart. So they'll have experience. On the defensive line, Doze, I couldn't pronounce his last name in a million years, but he knows who he is. Doze was a good player for us last year. He'll be a leader up front at nose guard, along with some guys like Dontrell Harris and Dazell Pridgett. Defensive ends, some guys that played last year, Royal Tuafano, Royalty Sanders, Omar Rogers. Those guys all played a lot of snaps, and we got a newcomer in A.J. Jackson. Came out from a basketball team that really has showed a lot of ability and is hungry to get out there and contribute. Very experienced in the secondary. Have about all those guys back. I got Lee Camper with us today. He's about 5'5" and doesn't weigh very much, but don't get it twisted. Don't throw over there because he ain't going to let them catch it. He started every game for us last year. He finds a way to get it done. He's a winner and a big leader for us. Dajian Jackson's back there in the secondary as well. He had several INTs last year and made a lot of big plays and brings a physical presence as well. Again, Xavier Loki, our tailback, plays safety. Also, Jalen Sanks, Marion Lawson, both started a lot, played a lot at corner last year. So those are some guys we're very experienced back there in the secondary. Our punter right now be Mark Olds. This guy has really worked hard at and improved, and really excited about how much better he's gotten. Our kicker will probably be Adam Depew. Again, he does a little bit of everything. And is going to be a good player for us in a lot of spots. Once again, a challenging schedule. I love to be in East Alabama. It's big-time football every week. These guys over here on kicker do a great job of covering. I appreciate you guys. Been doing it for a long time and do nothing but promote kids and coaches, and much appreciated. And again, it's great to be back in East Alabama, leading the Warrior Nation over there, and we're excited about the season. Our workouts, first 3 weeks back, were as good as any workouts I've ever been around. I could tell these guys were working over the break. They would send me videos, and we had a lot of leadership there and came back in good condition. And so, that tells you how hungry they are when they work on their own and that they believe in the program. So we've had some great leadership there. Just for our middle school, I believe we have the best staff in the country in middle school. Just hired some guys. Our offensive coordinator will be Brandon Barnes. He played there, played at Alabama State, was in the Raiders camp last year to the last cut. Started for the LA Galaxy in the XFL. Unfortunately, he hurt his knee, which for us worked out good because he's going to be taking a year off, and he's going to help Coach Mitchell here. Heading up our Warrior family at the middle school, we have another hometown hero, played at Alabama State. He's been in some college game at Samford and some other places, and he's dead set at doing the things the way we want to do it. He loves kids. We connected from the start, so I'm going to have Justin Mitchell come up and tell y'all what we got going with our middle school. Thank you.
Good morning. Like Coach said, I'm Justin Mitchell. I am a Russell County native, born and raised, played football at Russell County for 4 years, played under Rico White, Trip Henderson. A lot of things at Russell County have been done wrong over the years. A lot of kids have been taken advantage of. And I feel like we have a great head football coach now, Mark Rose, who put the kids first. To me, it's a big difference when you care about a kid and when you genuinely care about a kid. Coach Rose genuinely cares about these kids. He's willing to take them wherever they need to go to advance their football careers, to make sure that they have the opportunities to succeed in more than football, but in life. And it is a big deal. It is life after football. We can't just prostitute these kids and use them for what they can do for us. These kids have real lives after football, and that is a big deal. So that is one thing I love about Coach Rose and what we're doing at Russell County. Me at the middle school, I take pride in it because, like I said, I'm from there, and I know how football changed my life. Football is just a tool that we're teaching these kids to use to advance themselves and put them in better predicaments for their future. Like I say, I'm proud to be there and build that foundation to give them what they need at the high school. Thank you.
All right, we'll start with questions.
Coach Rose, this is your second year at Russell County. Your first year you were in 5A, and now you've moved into 6A in one of the toughest regions in the state. There's been a lot of movement to this region. Carver, Montgomery, Eufaula, Lanier in Montgomery, Robert E. Lee in Montgomery, Opelika, Park Crossing, and Valley. Your competition level will be higher this year than last year. How do you think you're going to do? I mean,
Well, actually, we were in 6A last year.
Oh, you were in 6A.
We do have some new folks in the region. Look, like I said, when you come to East Alabama, if you're not a big boy, you need to go somewhere else. I mean, I've been at Smith Station. I'm now at Russell County. Every week is a war. It's like the SEC of high school football, and we train our guys that way. They look forward to the challenge. I was extremely proud of the way we finished last year, which is not really a landmark at Russell County. Our guys all stayed with us. You know, we won 3. We had a chance in 3 or 4 more, and I believe the leadership and the buy-in that they'll get us over the hump.
Coach, I got 2 questions for you. First, what kind of numbers do you have this year? And the second question, does your middle school run the same offensive and defensive scheme, same calls and all that?
Yes, we had 83 on the roster, and we were having 70 plus every day at workout. Just the guys that were excused, possibly not being there. So about 15 or 20 more than we finished with last year. And, I mean, just hungry as you'll ever find. Coach Mitchell has come in and studied hard at what we do. He will use the same terminology. You know, I give those guys the freedom to, if their skill set for their players works a little, do something here or there. You know, we're trying to win. We're trying to use our players, their abilities the best they can, and he's very, very smart with that, and I think he'll do a great job. And another thing about Coach Mitchell, we are on the same page in discipline. You know, our kids are going to act right, and they're going to be leaders in that school, or they won't be out there the night we play at any level. And he is a staunch disciplinarian, loves them, and so we're just totally on the same page.
Mark, I know this offseason's been a little strange, but how much progress have you seen coming into this season compared to when you were getting in last year? And in your mind, what will it take for that progress to continue?
Well, you know, I believe in these guys. You know, who knew what was going to happen coming off a 2.5-month break? But I was absolutely could not have been happier. And just, you know they're bought in because they're working on their own. We were able to basically roll with a regular workout that we would start the summer with, and it was very important that they showed the leadership and worked on their own like that, and that's what's going to take us over the top. It's one thing if they're doing it because you make them do it, but these guys want to win. They're hungry, and I've been thrilled with the work ethic.
This is for the players. You guys have a couple of assistant coaches who have gone on to play college ball and even beyond. How much does that kind of help you guys?
Come up to the podium one at a time.
This is Dajon Jackson, safety receiver.
What was the question?
Just the assistant coaches that have gone on to play college and even beyond. How much does that help you guys as players?
Yeah, it helped a lot because they've been somewhere that we trying to go, so we look up to them.
All right, same question.
For me, like Coach Petway, he's been at Auburn, he's been there, he knows what to expect. So for me, I'm happy to have a coach that's been in a situation where I want to go, and then I can learn from what he's been through, and I can do the same.
For me, it shows the experience they had in the upper level, and they could just teach us how they played and how they did better in the college level. Because we have a couple of D1 coaches, a couple of coaches that played in the NFL or were on the NFL team. So they just show us how to play and how they did in high school.
Coach Rose, this question is for you. So you guys were tied for the most wins this program's had since 2013, and you scored the most points in a season since 1998. What does that say about the trajectory of this program going forward?
Well, again, we got a great staff. Our players are bought in. They are literally as hungry as any group anywhere I've coached all over this state. They're hungry to win, and I believe, I'll just be honest with you, they've been sold short over the years, and we're giving everything we got for them, and these guys will get it done for us in the end. So I couldn't be happier with the attitude, effort, and work ethic of our group.
For the players, Coach talked about how many returners are coming back this year. For you guys, when you have that many players who already understand what Coach Rose is talking about, how much faster is practice and how good is it to have everyone come back?
Well, you know, it's a little bit of an adjustment period getting them back in with no spring practice, but it'll be a lot better with some guys with some experience. You want the players to speak on that as well?
Practice go by way faster, way smoother, because if you have a whole lot of folks who don't know what they're doing, it's a whole lot of stopping and teaching. Well, everybody back, so we just keep it rolling. That's it.
My ear is bad. Can you repeat that question one more time?
With so many players who come back this year, a lot of you guys are already on the same page. What has practice been like, and is it going by faster for you guys? And as Coach mentioned, how hungry are you guys for this season?
Well, practice has been going by real smoothly because you got everybody that's returning for so many years. Like, everybody in this group has been together since freshman year and 7th grade year. So you already know what to expect when you come to practice. So it should go by smoothly.
I say it went by smooth because we all, like he said, we've been playing since 7th grade, this senior class. So, like, the new freshmen that come in, we could teach them ourselves, and the coaches won't have to stop. We could just tell them, we could critique them ourselves and police them.
All right, Russell County, we appreciate it. Coach Rose, good luck this season. Thank y'all.
Thank you, and I'd like to say also to my teammates, Coach Dye's passing was tough on all of us, especially this particular time and situation. We were able to go over and pay our respects, but Coach Dye's meant so much to me and my teammates, and we love him and what he taught us how to work, and he'd be proud of these guys, I can promise you. Thank you for all you do.
We're live on Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game, and WOTM Television. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel line.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Youth suicide. Don't want to talk about it? You should. Hi, I'm Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama. 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide have given clear warning signs. By knowing the warning signs associated with suicide and knowing how to help, you could save a life. Visit jasonfoundation.com and start learning how you can make a difference.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing. It's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people. Avoid crowds. Stay home if you can. Wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back to the third annual High School Media Football Days in East Alabama, brought to us by Orthopedic Clinic. I'm Eddie Owen. This is my partner, Jerry Bavaro. We're now welcoming Notasulga and Coach A.J. Jones, and we'll go to the podium to Van Riggs.
Fox Sports 910, 1310 a.m. The Game High School Football Media Days as we continue to move along. Another East Alabama coach and players ready to take the stage here, the Notasulga Blue Devils. And this coach was a player and went to school at Notasulga, so I know the area is very, very important and special to him. And Coach Jones has taken the Blue Devils to the playoffs every year. He's been the coach since 2015. He's entering his sixth season as coach at Notasulga High School. Please welcome Coach Anthony Jones and the Notasulga Blue Devils.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Very happy to be here, under the circumstances. Man, just thanking God that we got a chance to still at least talk about some football. To piggyback off the season we had last year, we went 7-5. We let a couple of them get away that we should have won. We had a great group of seniors. I lost 10 seniors last year. A couple of them are going on to play some college football. Others went to the military, and some is in the workforce. So I think that we did a good job with these guys in the program. They finished second in the region. Those 5 losses we had, a lot of them was in the top teams we played from Randolph County, defending champions Lynette, Whiteley, Spring Garden. A lot of these teams we played was up in the high ranks in their classifications. So we think that we did fairly well with these guys, and we just hope that they get something out of the program when they was there. Now, to talk about the seniors I got coming up now, this is still, I'm back to like another young team. I probably got like 6 or 7 seniors with me. 2 of them are here today. My quarterback, athletic guy, Walter Tatum, and one of the O-line, D-line, Mason Barker, that been with me since he was in 9th grade. So these 2 guys have been in the program. They're eager to get out and start their senior campaign of trying to get a championship. We've been very close, but now it's time for us to try to get over the hump and see what we need to do to get to where we need to go. Any questions?
Anthony, we've talked during the summer about how many siblings you guys have on this team. Talk a little bit about that and how much you think the fact that they're so close can benefit you guys going through the fall.
Well, I had talked to you about that. I think that it's a unique thing. I don't think no other coach around has all the brothers that I have. These 2 guys here as well, they got younger brothers that plays in the program. I got a set of twins. It's probably about 8 or 9 brothers on the team and cousins. This is a pretty big team I got this year. When we started working out, I had about 40 guys, and roughly we was having 36 to 37 guys show up for workouts. And it shouldn't be hard for them to get there because they all coming from the same house. So that was the thing that I thought would bring us together. When you always say you play for your brother, but you're playing for your real brother, a guy that y'all argue a lot, you fuss a lot, you want the last piece of cake or whatever, but now you're on the field and you got each other's back. So I think that was like something unique that I was looking for this season with us playing and having all those brothers on the team. Well, everybody know in small ball, you having your quarterback back really helps you because he's an extension of you on the field. This young man has played for me since he played varsity in 7th grade. And I think I had did I have 3 of y'all at one time? He had 3 brothers playing with him at that time, and now it's him and the younger brothers together. So that's something very special that he's been around. I think that him just having a year under his belt at playing quarterback, he's going to be better this year. You know, we both had growing pains as me calling plays and then him having the plays. We was both learning things from each other last year. So now with us back together, I think that the relationship's going to be a little smoother with us this year. He'll know what I like. I also ask him what he likes. But one of the main things that I think would make us better is my O-line. I only lost like 2 guys off that line last year, and this is one of the anchors that's here, and he's not even the biggest one I have. So I have some big space eaters this year, and with the running back that we have, the quarterback, and the receivers we have, you know, I think that we're going to be very well and execute what I want to do on offense.
Coach Jones, you guys finished second in the region last year. Obviously, the region champion Lynette no longer in the region. What's it going to take for you guys to take that next step and contend for a region title?
We got to learn how to finish games. Last year we had we let 2 or 3 games get away where we was leading all the way up to the 4th quarter. Just some costly mistakes. And as the coach, I take blame for that. You know, I have to put my guys in a better predicament to win. And I'm thinking that I'm going to do a better job with that this year. But I think that's what we got to do is finish. Every game we've played, we're always there in the 4th quarter. But now we got to understand, and I thought we took a step forward last year. We have never beaten Lafayette, ever, not even when I was playing. And we finally did what we had to do to understand how to win football game. And I think that helped us along when we played Linden. Linden was always a team that came and beat us in the playoffs. So this year, man, we did a great job of holding on in a 7-6 type ball game where he had an interception down at the 5-yard line to seal that deal. So I'm hoping that those guys take that growing and going into this year as them being their last year and understand that the little things can make big things and help you win.
Questions for both Mason and Walter. You guys have been with Coach and his system for a while, this being your senior year. How excited are you to take this team as far as it can go, and how excited are you for what this team can do?
I'm very excited. I feel like I get one more chance to actually lead a team to a championship.
I'm very excited because it's my senior year, and I get to lead the team on to a championship.
Coach Jones. Coach, this is Jerry Bavaro from the High School Scoreboard Show. First of all, I want to compliment you on your look. It looked like you lost a lot of weight you've been working out.
When this virus hit, that's all you can do is just work out and try to eat right. And that's all I've been doing. I do the same workouts that I get those guys to do. And if I lead, they're supposed to lead with me. So that's all I can do. When I come in, I just want to show them that, hey, the proof's in the pudding.
You're looking good, Coach.
Thank you.
What side of the ball are you most concerned about, and what do you feel most confident about your team returning?
What was the first one? The first question?
What side of the ball are you most concerned about going into fall practice?
Always me being defense. I lost 2 defensive ends, 2 linebackers, and a safety on that side of the ball. Offense, I'm returning everybody but a couple of guys. But defense that's what I love to do. That's how you win games. And I'm hoping that I have some guys that can fill in. We had a lot of guys that still played last year, but it's different from being a role player to a starter. So we hope that they can step in, you know, even though we didn't have spring ball and we missed a lot of practice time as now. We're just hoping that they can just come in and just, you know, feed off what we're telling them and they buy in quickly because they're some very smart guys. If they love what we want them to do, I think they can step in and help us out instantly.
Coach, I just want to make a statement. For all of you that don't know this, Coach Jones is one of the many that call in every Friday night, no matter whether they win or lose, because he wants to promote Notasulga football and highlight his players, and we really appreciate that and look forward to another great season.
Thank you.
Question for Walter. The fact that you've been able to play quarterback the last 2 years, how much more comfortable do you feel coming into this year compared to when you got put out there as a sophomore?
I'm very comfortable now that I know like what's expected to win. But yeah, I think I gotta practice more on like throwing the ball, trying to be more accurate. But everything else is there, so it's really on me.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it.
Hey, thank y'all for having us, man. Thank y'all for promoting high school football the way you do.
We're live on Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM. The Game, WOTM TV. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel line.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Youth suicide. Don't want to talk about it? You should. Hi, I'm Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama. 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide have given clear warning signs. By knowing the warning signs associated with suicide and knowing how to help, you could save a life. Visit jasonfoundation.com and start learning how you can make a difference.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing. It's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people, avoid crowds, stay home if you can, wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back to the third annual High School Media Days East Alabama, brought to you by Orthopedic Clinic. I'm Eddie Owen.
I'm Jerry Bavero.
We're so glad to be with you this morning. We've already had some good coaches and good interviews this morning. Jerry and I do the high school football scoreboard show on Friday nights from 10 until midnight during football season every week on WKKR 97.7 Kicker FM. We have a team coming in here now that we were just able to talk to Coach Story from Lynette, and his son will be playing for the University of Alabama and was Mr. Football in the state of Alabama last year, and what a huge loss that is.
Yeah, we were talking to Coach, and, when you have a kid that did everything for him, they still got a lot more talent. Let's not get that wrong. But still, that'll be a big loss. It'll be a little adjustment, but they got a ton of talent over there. They're the only defending state champ in this area. 2 out of the last 3 years, so it's a great program.
Well, and something interesting, the last 2 years, one of their biggest rivals moved out of their region. They moved to a different classification, and now Lynette and Lafayette are back playing in the same region again, which is very interesting. They got another tough region. Every region in East Alabama is tough.
Yeah, and that makes the Lafayette game even bigger because now it's a region game. It'll have a lot more importance, and that game always means a lot, but it's going to mean even more this year.
And you'd have to think that Lynette probably the favorite to win the region and maybe another state championship.
You got to pick Lynette until they're proven wrong.
And we're going to go to the podium with DeMark Mitchell.
Okay, welcome back. High School Media Days presented by the Orthopedic Clinic on Fox Sports The Game 910-1310. We welcome you back. We appreciate the Orthopedic Clinic, our title sponsor. We appreciate Economy Heating and Air, Auburn Bank, Butcher Paper Barbecue, Jeff Coat Trent Funeral Home, and Frederick Dean Funeral Home are presenting sponsors. As we move along here this morning, we've got a good group left in our day today. We've got Lynette, Benjamin Russell, Glenwood, Reeltown, and Opelika to wrap it up this afternoon. So looking forward. We've had a great morning. I thought we had a good job with Roger, Coach Rogers. I've called him kicking it off. He's quite a character. And I've got another great person to introduce. I've known at Lynette High School, I've known Coach Story for quite a while. He was a top-notch assistant at Auburn High School for many years, and boy, did he know how to coach. Being a radio announcer at Opelika for years, I watched him coach up some good guys at Auburn High School. And from there, he went to Lynette. And I think you all know he's still writing the book at Lynette. This guy's won a state championship, played for several, has a very good football team, but most importantly, he's a good man. He cares about his kids, and I think that's one of his great attributes. I'm going to bring to the microphone the head coach of the Lynette Panthers, Coach Clifford Story.
I'm a little taller than he is. First of all, I would like to thank all the media for putting this program on for all of the schools to get the opportunity to advertise their team and their players and staff. But here at Lynette, we have a very unique situation. We've been blessed over the past few years to have such great athletes and kids with high character that got a desire and a passion to be successful. This year's team, we're going to be senior heavy. Right now we have 15 seniors, which is the largest class I've had entering my 12th year at Lynette. Have not had that many seniors. We got a great group of leaders. We have 4 of them up here this afternoon to speak, but they have worked extremely hard. I was real surprised during the pandemic for when we was able to get back to work, the way they came back in shape, ready to play. I was so concerned about, some of them not doing what they were supposed to do, and we was going to be behind the 8 ball as far as conditioning-wise, but they came back ready to play. They took it upon themselves as a group, not just 1 or 2 of them, but they would call each other and get them all on a field. They found fields all over Chambers County to work out and to, start preparing themselves for what they didn't even know in the beginning. But that showed me that I got a great group of kids that concerned about the program as a whole. But, coming into the season right now, defensively, we got a great group coming back. Offensively, we got a great group coming back. With the exception to right now, the quarterback position is still up in the air. I have Caden, who's going to have an opportunity to do it. I got Marquise Atkinson and Kadarius Zachary. All three of those guys going to compete at that position moving forward. So we're excited for the season, to get started and to be able to, put a good product on the field, and hopefully that we'll have a chance to be around when the grass is brown.
Coach, one of the things we discussed right before you went up was a lot of people have looked at Lynette over the past few years and thought you were a one-horse team because of a superstar that you had last year. But you've got a lot of great athletes at school right now, and you got some really good guys up there right now, really strong looking and ready to play. Tell us what it's like this year after your son has left.
Well, it's a lot different, of course, when you got somebody that been at the quarterback position for 3 years and have been playing with you since he was in the 8th grade. Because of what he brought to the game, it made everybody else around him elevate their game. It's been very different, but I've been able to adjust because of the guys that I had returning that knows how the program works, knows how we do things, and also to have Caden coming along, somebody that sit at your dinner table and somebody who you can put, up on the board and talk football with, and they can take your personality and put it out on the field. That has always been very important, that if they can take who you are and put it out there on the field, it makes a big difference in everything that's around you.
Clifford, you mentioned that you guys are still figuring out quarterback, but luckily you guys have some experienced receivers back and several of them up there with you. How much easier do you think that's going to make whoever winds up being the quarterback, the fact that they've got guys at the receiver position that are experienced?
It makes it real easy because those guys know their route trees. They know where they need to be against the defense to find open spots in the zone. And, when you listen to them at practice, they come up to each other and, and tell them where they are and where they're going to be and where the ball need to be thrown. And the thing that I love about these guys up here, especially my receivers, they just say, throw the ball and we'll catch it. And so that's kind of confident that they have in the ball being thrown in that area that they're going to catch it. So they have been real big. And, of course, if you got receiver that you trust and you can throw it to and they tell you just throw it and they're going to catch it, that makes a big difference.
This is for the players, Coach Jackson's in his second year as offensive coordinator. How much does that help to be able to be in that system a lot more?
With Coach Jackson coming in, it was a big difference because, we went from Coach Siegel being the offensive coordinator to Coach Jackson coming in, and it kind of helped in a way because he was younger, so he worked with us, making situations that were suitable for us, helping us in the best way possible.
You guys can feel free to jump in too and also answer the question. You need it repeated?
Just with Coach Jackson being in his second year, how much does that help you guys as receivers?
With Coach Jackson coming in, he changed a lot of things, but we adapted and we learned them pretty quick because, the way he put it is really easy, but the route trees that he gave us, they're simple but complex at the same time.
I feel like with Coach Jackson coming in, I feel like it helped a lot because, as us being young receivers coming at 10th grade, I feel like we didn't know as much route concepts. So I feel like him coming in and changing a few things, I feel like we learned our route concepts more better and smoother.
Coach Story, this question's for you. You guys have this knack of winning state championships as you're changing classifications. Any worries about any growing pains as you rise from Class 1A to Class 2A?
No growing pains for us because we did it in 2A in 17, and we're very familiar with those schools that came back to our region because we've played them all, except for BB Coma, but we're familiar with the rest of them. So for me to be familiar with what they're going to do offensively and defensively, actually it gives us an advantage because we know what we're going to face. So we're going to have film, you know, from past seasons up to now. You know, the old coaches that I coach against, they old school, they hard nosed, and they going to do what they going to do. You just got to be prepared to stop it. So I'm actually elated to be back in that region with them.
Clifford, you know, going back to quarterback, how important are the next few weeks, and specifically when you guys can get back, you know, with pads on to, you know, figuring out that position, especially after an off season where y'all didn't have a spring and were really limited through the summer?
Well, it's very important because, you know, when the bullets start firing, that's when you really start seeing, you know, who gonna step up, because, you know, on air and on bags, all of them look good. But when you got to put a defense over there that coming at them, we want to see what they can do when the heat is on. So it's going to be real big because by us not having a spring, we wasn't able to, you know, to make that decision a little earlier. But, you know, those three guys, they going to compete. I know they are. And it gives me an opportunity myself, because I'll be coaching them to really see, you know, how competitive they really are. And, you know, you want somebody at the quarterback position that got the leadership ability and they want to compete.
Question for Trey, just how excited are you for this season for you guys to have a chance to go win back-to-back state championships?
I feel like this season going to be real exciting because I know we got great leadership coming back, and I feel like everybody is working hard and everybody is staying together and keeping a straight head of mind. So I feel like it's going to be a good season for us to go back and get another championship.
Pop, this one's for you. In the recent 24/7 and ESPN rankings, you were able to move up. What does that kind of mean to you?
With me being a top 247 recruit, I understand that people are going to be coming at me because I'm a 4-star and I'm ranked. So I understand that I have to keep working and keep getting better each and every day, just to not let them catch up to me and get where I am.
Caden, I got a question for you too, kind of piggybacking off of that. Have you talked to Christian much about, you know, what it's like, you know, going through recruiting, and if so, what kind of advice have you gotten from him?
Yes, sir. I talked to him a lot, but he's told me things like, when you're going through recruiting, you got to make sure that you build a relationship with the coaches, all the coaches, not just one, because you never know what could happen. And just go where you're comfortable. Go where you're comfortable. Go where your heart is.
Question for Coach, kind of piggybacking off of that too. How have you seen Caden handle it so far, and how much do you think him seeing Christian go through it has helped him so far?
It had helped him a lot because every time we took Christian on visits, we always took him along. So he understands the process, and he understands, you know, how to filter when it's fake and when it's real, because, you know, you learn those things along the way when it just talk or if it's reality. But it had helped him tremendously to be a part of and to see Christian go through it, and also to have Trey went through it and Christian went through it at a much higher level. But recruiting is recruiting, and they have really given him sound advice, and he taking heed to it, and he listened at the things that we tell him pertaining to it.
This is for all the players. You know, Valley and Lafayette went yesterday, and they brought up the rivalry that you guys all share. Can you just talk a little bit about those two rivalry games?
When it comes to the rival game, the rivalry part is just for the fans. Like, it's business. They're just another football team we have to play, you know, another team on the schedule. Valley, you know, they're a rival, but they're not in our, you know, classification, so it's just a game. Of course, we're going to win, but we got to do what we got to do, go to the next game, beat all the 2A schools, and get another state championship.
When it comes to the rivalry game, I really don't even do too much talking because talking really can lead you to messing up in the game. But I let them talk, and I just show the two when I score.
When it comes to the rivalry, I don't really do too much talking. I let my game talk for itself. I don't really get into that because the rivalry is really for the fans. It's business as usual. So it's another football game there on our schedule. So we're really just ready to go out and play them.
It's just like business, you like they said. So it ain't nothing but another football game. We go out there, take care of business, and get ready for another game. So that's it.
This one's for Caden. Stepping up at quarterback, you have a quarterback battle there. But for you, knowing you have all these veteran wide receivers, how comfortable do you feel out there?
I'm very comfortable with them because I feel like I can just throw the ball up and they'll go get it. So I can trust them. That's why I'm so comfortable because I feel like I'm able to trust them and just be able to get. And when I'm able to get them the ball, I know they'll make a play.
Your brother Christian, any advice for playing quarterback?
Well, he told me just be comfortable. Don't listen to what the receivers are saying. Sometimes they may get caught up in give me the ball and all those type of things. He just told me just be comfortable and don't get caught up in those type of things.
Coach Story, your kids, no matter what classification they're in, there always seems to be a target on their back, whether it's 1A, 2A, bouncing back up to 2A. Just can you talk about the composure about these kids? They have to be basically be game ready no matter who they line up against.
Yes, it is, but as you can see, we've took on the slogan of business as usual. That's our slogan that we're using this year because I've always told them that we're not going backwards. We're just going to move forward. But it's all about training the mentality of the kids because it's very easy for kids to lose confidence or not have the passion or the desire to push through when they face adversity. So my biggest things, I always find little small things to get them over the hump, and we challenge them daily, putting them through adversity so when games get tough, they know how to fight through it and make plays when they need to be made. So we've trained these guys mentally and physically to be prepared to battle whoever is on our schedule. I'm not being cocky or arrogant about it, but I just feel like that once they're prepared to play, then that they're going to perform at the highest level. And I found this slogan a long time ago, and I carry it with me when it says, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So as a coach, as the head coach, it's my job to make sure that they're prepared to play on Friday.
All right, one last question over here.
This is for the players. So you guys are part of the biggest senior class in Coach Story's senior at Lynette, and you have the opportunity to play for back-to-back state championships. How important is the leadership for that you give to the underclassmen?
It's a lot of times, we talk to the younger class and tell them, it might be some games we have to step out for. We might get hurt or game situation, we might be tired and have to come out. And we tell them, y'all got to get to it. And I believe in our young, we got some dogs. So they're going to do what they got to do.
I feel like as being leaders, I feel like we tell them every day, be yourself. Be who you are, be better than you were yesterday. So it's a slogan that Coach Seeger say, be elite. We tell them to be elite every day and keep a strong mindset that y'all can be great.
Being leaders really plays a big part in our program because we understand that we can't do anything without a leader. So therefore, us four guys have stepped up and became leaders, and that, yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what they said. The young guys, they got the mindset, the same mindset that we have. They have to make it a strong belief. Because when they make it a strong belief, they'll follow the same steps we follow, have the same work ethic we have, and they can tell the younger class under them what they do and how to do it.
All right, Lynette, good luck this year. Thank you, Coach Story and the guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're live on Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game, WOTM Television. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel line.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Youth suicide. Don't want to talk about it? You should. Hi, I'm Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama. 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide have given clear warning signs. By knowing the warning signs associated with suicide and knowing how to help, you could save a life. Visit jasonfoundation.com and start learning how you can make a difference.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing. It's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people, avoid crowds, stay home if you can, wash your hands frequently, learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back to the 3rd annual High School Media Days of East Alabama, brought to you by Orthopedic Clinic, also sponsored by Frederick Dean Funeral Home, Economy Heating and Air, Auburn Bank, Butcher Paper Barbecue, Jeffcoat Trent Funeral Home. Jerry, we've had some really good interviews and coaches so far and teams. I am really impressed with the attitudes of all of the players at Lynette.
You can tell they're used to winning, and winning breeds more winning. The kids are first-class kids, well-disciplined. And, you know, football's one sport you better have discipline or else you're not going to win. They're used to winning. They're going to continue. They got some great athletes that were on that stage.
And you're absolutely right. Their attitudes, it's obvious that they are a winning tradition, because ask about rivalry games, every one of them said, you know, that's for the fans. We're just all about business.
Yep.
And so we've got a school now coming up that has not been here before, Benjamin Russell. They've got a coach that's been there a couple of years. I think this is his third year. Has an 11-10 record. Benjamin Russell has been in Opelika's region. And I wanted to say that they moved to a different region, but actually it looks like from the region that Opelika moved out and Benjamin Russell stayed kind of where they were. Benjamin Russell, Calera, Chilton County, Helena, Pelham, Stanhope, Elmore, and Wetumpka make up Region 3 of 6A.
Yeah.
That's a pretty tough region.
It's a pretty tough region, but they were in a tougher region last year, and I think they're going to, to finish in the top 4, I like their chances this year. Most of those teams, except for maybe Stanhope, Elmore, and Wetumpka, I like their chances against.
Well, Wetumpka's been a rivalry with Benjamin Russell for years and years and years, and I saw something on the computer the other day about Wetumpka's new stadium, and it's very beautiful. I'm not sure if it's been built yet. This may have been an architect's rendition, but it's a fantastic looking facility. And of course, Benjamin Russell has had one of the best facilities in the state for years at the Sportplex in Alex City.
Yeah, got a lot of friends in Alex City, and they keep up with their high school football. They love their high school football, and it's been down a little bit, but I think things are going to start to change.
We'd like to remind everyone that Thursday at 1 o'clock there's going to be a press conference with AHSAA, and Coach Severese is going to talk about the state of athletics in the state of Alabama due to COVID-19. This has been really a tough time for all student athletes, all students and teachers, and it's been tough for everybody in the world.
It has been, and a lot of people asking me questions. If you want to get some answers, listen to that telecast tomorrow. A lot of answers will be given, maybe clear some things up. And it sounded like Coach Savarese was planning on playing football this year, and that was very optimistic.
That's what it sounded like to me too. And one of the things that stood out to me yesterday was that, as in everything else that's going on in our world right now, he was very hesitant to ask questions because everything is so fluid right now. And he was pretty adamant about the fact that he couldn't give us any answers until maybe Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, he's talking to the health experts. He's going to make sure everything's correct before he says it, and that's the way to handle it.
And now we're going to go to the podium and Van Riggs.
Welcome back to High School Football Media Days on Fox Sports 910, 1310 AM. The game we're pleased to have for the first time here at High School Football Media Days, Benjamin Russell High School. When we first started High School Football Media Days, this is our third year, we really didn't know just how much we would cover the area. We started out the first year sort of small. Last year we branched out, and this year we decided to go out a little bit further. Benjamin Russell, a great program. Alexander City is such a great football city. They're in the regions with many teams from this area. And Coach Smith has been gracious enough to load up his guys and bring them over here on a 40-plus minute drive from Alexander City today. So we're excited to have them. Coach Smith has a really interesting story on his coaching background. He's been a long-time assistant at Benjamin Russell High School, and he has coached under, I think, 4 different Hall of Famers we were just talking about, including the current executive athletic director, Steve Savarese, who was at Alexander City when he was an assistant coach. So without further ado, we'll welcome in Kevin Smith and the Benjamin Russell Wildcats.
Well, thank you, guys. It's really good to be here. We're really proud in Alex City, and anytime we can get an opportunity like this to come out and just talk about our program, we want to be able to do that, and we're just really glad to have this opportunity. You know, I've been watching the growth of high school football. You can kind of watch through the media days around, and I think I remember the first time I saw one of these was I believe Mobile was doing one early, and I remember sitting there as a younger coach thinking how nice that was to be able to get out and showcase and talk about the high school athletes. You know, we see it, you know, from the NFL down, and different sports, and it's good to get these guys exposure in any different way you can, because they do so much. The daily life of a high school athlete, especially football in Alabama, they do a lot of things, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, and they do a great job. We're really happy to be here. We'll just open up anything y'all want to go over. We're actually, I will say before we get started with the questions, this group of guys we got coming back, we did not have the success last year Ben Russell is accustomed to. You know, being one of the smaller schools in 6A gets thrown around a lot, but if you go through Alexander City, they don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. That's not something that we talk about, and that's something that, you know, is not an excuse. So when you look back last year, we didn't have the success that we're accustomed to, and that's been kind of put on the shoulders of this upcoming class. And I tell you, they've done a great job of taking that bull by the horn, so to speak, and with all the stuff, and we'll obviously talk about it with the pandemic going through and the questions, and that's been, I think, our theme. You know, this year has been kind of, don't think about that. You know, when people ask us, are we playing? Well, we may or we may not, but we're going to prepare as if it's happening tomorrow. We don't know, you know, we don't know what's going to happen, but we're preparing to play, and these guys, and as well as their teammates, have done an excellent job of preparing that way.
Hey, Coach, before we jump into questions, you want to tell us a little bit about the players in particular you brought on stage?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I could start with that. Start far right is my son Carter Smith. He's a senior. He's a quarterback. He gets the privilege of going home with me every night, and that's something I know Coach Story's lived through that too, and their kids. But yeah, that's Carter. I got Elijah Spivey, senior wide receiver. Both of these guys, or all three of these guys, were starters last year. They're coming back for their third year. And then Damian Lowry is number 67, our left tackle. Damian has actually been starting for 3 years, so he's got a lot of great experience and getting some good looks.
Well, you're going to know that I'm a homer because I'm from Alex City. And
Go Cats.
Went to Benjamin Russell High School through my 9th grade year. When I hear the fight song, it just brings back my whole life. Our boys are fighting. I know y'all love to hear that. We're so proud to have y'all. We're so proud to have y'all here with us this year. Jerry Bavaro and I'm Eddie Owen. We do the scoreboard show on Friday nights, and we'd love for you to give us a call. We have a lot of followership up in Alex City.
Yeah.
What is your expectations of these seniors on your team this year?
Well, our expectations every year, you know, is to you want to have a winning season in the region play, and have a home. To be specific, to have a home playoff game is our goal every year. These guys, they're no different. So the biggest thing that would be the biggest specific thing. Other than that, we just expect leadership every day out of these guys, and we expect hard work and effort. Those are general things that the culture we try to maintain in our building. But I think that we start off when we come in. You know, if you've been in Alex City, you understand being small is not an excuse. They expect you, and we expect to be in the playoffs, and we expect to be in the playoffs at the Sportsplex.
Hey, Coach, I'll piggyback kind of off that, the support. You know, one thing you notice when you go to a football game Friday nights at the Sportsplex is the home crowd. You guys pack it out every Friday night. Just talk about the community and the support that's behind the program.
Well, that is something that I'm not originally from there, but I moved in, went to Auburn and was hired by Coach Savarese. Obviously, back in '96 was my first year there, and that's something that I'm still blown away by. And it's not just home games. If you really watch and pay attention, we've gone down, I won't say specifically who, in playoff games down south multiple times, and every time we've been down there, we have more people in our stands than they do theirs. And that's just that's another tradition at Ben Russell. You know, the band is always strong. You know, the auxiliary, I call them auxiliary, the cheerleaders, the dance. I mean, the sideline. That's just a proud sight to look at when you come to Alex City.
Coach, just kind of tell me about how you felt like that this team has really handled, you know, this whole summer and just all that you guys have had to kind of go through, and how much do you think that the way that they've had to handle everything is going to impact the season as well, with, you know, having to be disciplined and cleaning their station and doing all this stuff? Do you think that could pay off when the season rolls around?
Yeah, the word that pops in my head when you say how they've done it is this is a mature group. You know, they've handled it well. Our attendance at summer workouts has been phenomenal. It's been amazing, and they're there every day, and with very little percentage of people who are missing. We've had, you know, like everybody else, a little bit of a drop in numbers because of you know, the virus, so to speak. But these guys have really picked it up, and they're just a mature bunch. What you thought about the cleaning the stations and keeping everything. The one thing we don't, you know, we have to, our floor is a mess all the time because we have to stretch outside. But, you know, you walk in and you know, we get that. But the wiping down and getting in the locker room, in and out, those are little things that you don't think about. But when you're told, you know, this is the reason why, and they look across and they, you know, this person has been quarantined for 2 weeks, and this person, we haven't had anybody so far. So that's been really, as far as it has come down with it. So that's pretty good.
Coach, sort of along those same lines, you know, with looking at last season was the first time y'all missed the playoffs in several years, but with the group coming back, what have you seen from them and their work that, you know, has you convinced that they're going to be ready to go back and compete this fall?
Well, I'll give you a good example on that. One of the things we did, we traditionally go 3 days a week in the summer. We usually go Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, and then we'll have a Wednesday as a makeup day. And when you know, we didn't get spring, obviously, this past fall. You know, you just kind of looked at it and said, well, we need to add a day. Well, right or wrong, you can debate that, but we added a day. And our participation rate in the summer, which is always something you can kind of look at just in general to see the maturity and the attendance and the commitment of the team. And our attendance and our has been, the drop has been minimal, and that's with adding a day. So that tells me that there is a lot of commitment there, and you can just, because it's more than talk. I mean, every year you hear the seniors, they talk. You know, this is our goal, that's our goal. But you know, the proof's in the pudding when you see them show up and they're working. You know, they're still working out in the heat. You know, that's what we tell them every day. It's not going to get cooler, and they're there.
I'll ask one for the players. Some of the normals. Just talk about the difficulty. I mean, this is big competition, especially quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver, running backs. Just talk about the level of competition. You're used to it now, how that'll pay off this season.
Well, normally, I mean, I take it as it doesn't matter who we're playing. As long as we prepare ourselves the way we're supposed to, it shouldn't matter 6A, 7A, 5A. I mean, I believe you prepare the right way, you should be able to play anybody. So it doesn't matter to me who we play.
This one's for Carter and Elijah. Obviously, last year was a really good receiving group, and you lost some pretty good players on that group. So, like Elijah, for you, how much more pressure is kind of on you to step up this year and really kind of make up for that production that's lost from those guys that left last year?
Coming back from last year, losing Zay Stoves and Ryan, they really helped me out last year because they took some of the weight off of me from last year. But Marcus Freeman, he was there last year, and he's coming back this year. So he'll be able to carry some of the weight for me. And then we have Owen Wilson coming in, and he'll be able to help too. So it's really not that big of a difference, even though we're just losing Zay Stowes and Ryan. And I'm just have to step up and lead them and show them how it's done.
To me, I believe, we had talented players last year, receiving-wise, and we've got one coming back, got 3 others that I believe can carry the same weight. We got a good receiving coach, Cody Glenn. I believe if they get in there and they're practicing right, it doesn't matter their talent, skill, what they were born with. If they're practicing right, they should be prepared.
This question's for Damian. Damian, being a 3-year starter, you've been through the wars like nobody else on the team has. What kind of pressure does that put on you being a senior leader having started for 3 years?
I feel like it's not too much pressure. It's just natural to be there to help improve the young, to get them to be the leading new faces of the future for BR.
All right, I think that's it. Coach Smith, good luck. Benjamin Russell, we appreciate y'all coming this year. Look forward to having y'all back next year. Thank y'all.
You're listening to Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game, and WOTM TV. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel line.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Youth suicide. Don't want to talk about it? You should. Hi, I'm Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama. 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide have given clear warning signs. By knowing the warning signs associated with suicide and knowing how to help, you could save a life. Visit jasonfoundation.com and start learning how you can make a difference.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing. It's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people. Avoid crowds. Stay home if you can. Wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back to day 2 of the 3rd annual High School Media Days of East Alabama. We're right here at the Event Center in downtown Opelika. Jerry, it's been a good day so far.
Good day. A lot of good coaches, a lot of good schools here that have won a lot of games in the past, and a lot of great athletes, of course.
I'm really impressed with how brainwashed the coaches have these kids about talking about, we don't care who the opponent is.
Well, that's how you got to be. You got to just worry about your own assignments, and they got to have enough confidence in their ability. If they do their assignments, they got a real good chance of winning. That's how football is.
And Benjamin Russell probably is going to be a much better team this year. I'm glad that they were able to come. We want to thank Orthopedic Clinic for sponsoring us today, along with Frederick Dean Funeral Home, Economy Heating and Air, Auburn Bank, Butcher Paper Barbecue, Jeffcoat Trent Funeral Home. And those of you that are watching us on WOTM, you'll see that scrolling across the bottom of your page. And just want to remind everybody that there's a very, very important press conference tomorrow at 1 o'clock. AHSAA Coach Savarese will be telling us about the state of sports in the state of Alabama. And without further ado, we're going to go to the podium and Mark Mitchell.
All right, welcome back, High School Media Days on Fox Sports The Game, 9/10/13/10, presented by the Orthopedic Clinic and presented to you by Frederick Dean Funeral Home, Auburn Bank, Butcher Paper Barbecue, Jeffcoat Trent Funeral Home, and Economy Heating and Air. Those folks make this possible so we can get it out on the airways and make sure we can get this facility and all that, and we certainly appreciate them, and certainly the Orthopedic Clinic for being our title sponsor. They do so much in our area. Jerry and them mentioned to you, and Eddie mentioned to you if you were listening, about the press conference tomorrow on the HSAA is hosting about today. They're meeting right now, so that'll be live on WOTM TV at 1 o'clock, I believe, right? And we're going to carry that on Fox Sports The Game, 9/10/13/10 as well. So more news tomorrow as we continue covering high school football. My next coach up, he has double duty. He coaches over in Columbus, the Columbus indoor team too, and he's also the head coach of the Glenwood Gators. I bring to the microphone Coach Jason Gibson.
Good morning. This is the part where we got to talk, right? Just want to thank everybody for having this event. I think it's a great job that you guys, everybody puts on, especially the media, for these young men, for all the schools. It's an opportunity to get them some exposure. That's what it's all about. The main thing for this, they're so excited to be here. I'm excited to be here, and that's what I love about the South. That's what I love about being down here in Alabama and playing football. Football's king, and that's how it should be. So basically, going into this season, we're coming off a pretty good butt whipping at the state championship game, and we talked about it in the past. Our goal a couple years ago, we lost to Bessemer on the 1 yard line in the state semifinals, and it was kind of a one more yard battle cry for the season to try to get back, to try to get to that game, and we made it to Troy, and we forgot that we should have showed up and played a game, and we took that on the chin, but that was a learning experience. So this year, with the crew of players we have going forward, we are the expectation is to win a state championship. I mean, just getting to the game this year is not really the goal, and these guys will tell you. So it's going to be a tough season, especially with the situation that we're all living in right now. So it's been a little bit different. Our main goal really is to facilitate and try to create as much normalcy as we can while being safe and doing the right thing for our players, keeping our guys healthy, and getting the school year kicked off and playing. And I'm just excited about our group. We are experienced at the skill position. I think we're loaded at the skill position. It reminds me of our 2017 team. We're inexperienced on the O-line, but I've got some great players there. I'm really excited for them. We got one senior on the O-line, Will Boatner. But I'm excited about the group of kids we have going forward into the season. So, I'll open it up for questions, and we can go from there.
Jason, when you look at the work that these guys have put in this offseason, coming off of that championship game loss, what have you seen that makes you think that they are ready to come back and maybe make it to that game and win it this time?
Well, we were in the weight room as soon as the season was over with, and we had a we had identified what we were, I thought from a core standpoint, from a team standpoint, school standpoint, what we were lacking ability-wise, and we had a really good program in the off-season. In January, February, March, we had gotten after it like I hadn't seen us getting after it in the weight room. We had plus 60 kids running track, which was great for our school. A lot of football players are running track. We just developed the running we've done a lot of stuff in the off-season, and of course, come March, everything gets shut down. It's been kind of quiet since. So from March to now, we've worked out maybe 7 or 8 times through the summer, tops. For various reasons, and so we'll see what happens on Monday.
Coach Gibson, when I talked to you earlier this summer, you talked about putting the championship game behind you, that it was great to go there, but this is a new season. You know, how do you get your players focused on this season and not looking back towards the past?
Well, because you're only returning 8 starters on both sides of the ball total. We do have a large senior class, you know, especially for a private school, and we've got 22 seniors this year, which is huge. And last year's class was big, but to have 22 seniors at a private school is pretty good. So we have a lot of veterans, but some of them that are playing this year don't know anything about the championship game. The ones that do are sitting on this stage, and they can probably tell you a little bit more about it.
Coach, I know you've got some familiar opponents year in and year out on your schedule, but talk about your regions. Did you have any changes there?
Yeah, well, we got out of, I've always called our region the SEC West. You know, when I took the job 5 years ago, you're playing Bessemer and Tuscaloosa, and you know, down the line, it's just week after week. There's no break in the schedule. And then our conference game is as hard as there is. And I thought, you know, the last couple of years, us trying to get games has been difficult. This year, we start right out with Bessemer out of the gate, and then we come back with perennial power Escambia, which, you know, I've been dodging Hugh Fountain for years, but I couldn't dodge him anymore. We needed a game, and we had to play, and we're at the level now to where, you know, a couple years ago we had to go play the 4A state champion at Mississippi public school, and you just, hey, line them up, let's play them. And so now, you know, when you look at our out-of-conference schedule with Autauga, the state champion, Escambia lost to Autauga, Bessemer state champion, and then Monroe, who's been a 4-time state champion. So that's just your out-of-conference games alone. And you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Question for all 3 of the players, so y'all can just take turns, but especially this being your senior year, what's the motivation like to try to come back this year and go out as state champions?
It's definitely something that we all want and something that we're all looking forward to, just to get that opportunity again, because we didn't really have it. Or we had the opportunity, but we let it slip through our fingers, and we're not going to let that happen again this year.
I think this year is a little bit different for especially all of us seniors, because, you know, we got there and tasted it, but we couldn't get it. And being here since 8th grade, I've seen good teams not win it, and I don't want to be another one of those teams.
To bounce back off of what Trent said, I think the mentality this year is different, and everybody else is a little bit more motivated, even with the people that just came to the team. We're all on the same page, and we all have, ultimately, at the end of the day, one goal.
I'll ask a question for any one of the players that wants to jump up, or you can all answer either one. But talk about Glenwood, the support from, again, the school system. I asked Benjamin Russell this question earlier, but when you go to Glenwood on a Friday night and watch football, the stands are packed. I mean, it's the swamp. It's a buzzing atmosphere. You just don't see it at a lot of AISA schools around. I think it stands out from them. Just talk about your fan base and the crowds on Friday night.
I want to make sure I introduce him real quick, and I should have done that at the beginning, but Trent Edwards plays defensive line, linebacker's been there since I took the job. He started as an 8th grader. He is, I'm not going to say he's a quiet leader, because he's a guy that you don't want to meet in the back alley, you know, and I think every football team and every coach knows you got to have some of those guys. And, you know, Trent's going to be a leader for us. Obviously, Jackson Griner, plays both sides of the ball, play quarterback. He's getting a lot of retention, a lot of recruits. I think does Army offer you? No, this is close. So Army, I've talked to East Carolina, I've talked to Wake Forest. I mean, he's getting a lot of offers or a lot of interest defensively at linebacker and Rover. And, of course, Kai Robichaud, I feel, is probably one of the top 2 or 3 backs in the region, hands down. He had 1,500 plus yards last year. Our goal this year is to get him to 2. That's the offensive line's goal. So, and they're all seniors. They're all as quiet as you see them now as how they are in the locker room. They just lead by example in the field. So I just wanted to make sure who they were.
The atmosphere at Glenwood is just really different. I came from a public school where we had a great fan base and everything, and I didn't expect that at Glenwood, and I was so surprised when I saw it, just how amazing it truly is. And they treat you like family. It's just truly unbelievable. It's just, they treat you amazing. A lot of fans, everybody, it's just one big family.
To bounce off what Jackson said, Glenwood honestly is one community. It's a whole family atmosphere. Everybody gets along, and we love for the fans to come out and support the team. And yeah.
My situation is kind of like Jackson's. I came from a 7A public school, Smith Station. I didn't really know everybody, you know. In Glenwood, you know everybody in the hallways, you know everybody in the stands, and it's just more of it feels a little bit better when they're cheering you on.
Question for Jackson and Trent. You guys graduated some really good seniors from last year, like Justin Jackson. For each of you personally, what have been some of the things you've been doing as far as trying to become more of a leader on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, losing Justin was definitely hard for us because he was such a good leader. But we all work together, we all practice together, and we have a lot of talent on the defensive side. It's just we just have to find that one guy on the team, and I believe that I can be that guy once we get back to practice. Just step up and show everybody how it's done, tell them how it's done, and just be an example.
Yeah, like Jackson said, it definitely hurt a little bit losing Justin, Landis, all the seniors we had last year. But I think this year we can, a couple leaders like me and Jackson can really kind of energize the team and lead by example.
This one's for Jackson and Kai. You know, especially on offense, COVID-19 has put a damper on practice. But how important is it, you know, both of y'all working together in previous years to have that chemistry already built?
Ever since me and Jackson got to Glenwood, the chemistry's been there. We communicate off the field. We'll go work out, throw the football, make sure everybody's on the same page, get into the playbook if we need to. We'll make FaceTime calls and everything. But as far as getting everything while we're on this pandemic and everything, yeah.
Well, it really is a good chemistry we have because we know each other's skill set and we know what each other's good at. And we even know each other's faults. And we really just build off each other. And everything that we do at practice, workouts, everything is just to get better, just to keep motivating the team. And we know that we have to be leaders and set it by example. So me and Kai really try our best to do that. When everybody's heads down, the state championship is a good example of that. Everybody's head was down after the game, and I think a lot of people were motivating everybody, but me and Kai were definitely the top ones, saying we'll come back next year, we'll get them week 1. And we really just a friendship and just part of the family at Glenwood.
Kai, I think you put it best. That's what everybody thinks of the pandemic. They're speechless, you know, so I think that's a good way to put it. Glenwood, thank y'all. Coach Gibson, good luck this season. We appreciate y'all being here again. Thank you.
You're listening to Fox Sports, 9:10 a.m., 13:10 a.m., The Game, and WOTM TV. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel line.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Youth suicide. Don't want to talk about it? You should. Hi, I'm Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama. 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide have given clear warning signs. By knowing the warning signs associated with suicide and knowing how to help, you could save a life. Visit jasonfoundation.com and start learning how you can make a difference.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing, it's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people, avoid crowds, stay home if you can, wash your hands frequently, learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back to the final day of the 3rd annual high school football media days for East Alabama. We're right here in the event center in downtown Opelika, Jerry. What a beautiful facility.
Yeah, the first time I've been in here, I'm really impressed. They have anything from concerts, comedians. It's a good little facility.
And we're glad to be here, and we've got 2 teams left today, and we're going to go to the podium right now with D. Mark Mitchell.
Thank you, Eddie. Welcome back. High School Media Days presented by the Orthopedic Clinic and our presenting sponsors, Jeffcoat Trent Funeral Home, Butcher Paper Barbecue, Auburn Bank, Economy Heating and Air, and Frederick Dean Funeral Home. All those folks made this possible here for us on the radio. We appreciate having one listening, be away of the radio, watching us, and we appreciate our media being here, as I say every time. 2 schools left before we conclude this year's Media Day, our 3rd annual on Fox Sports, the game 9-10, 13-10. We're proud to have all the schools here. We had a couple that didn't make it over, but it's been a unique year, as you know. Don't forget, tomorrow, 1 o'clock press conference, the HSA Executive Director Steve Salvarez will have a press conference, talk about what they've discussed today. He gave us a little sneak peek yesterday, and I appreciate him doing that. It means a lot. All right, our next school, we got 2 left. Our next school is the Reeltown Rebels. Folks in our area know about Reeltown, long time. Just a program, just incredible program. Jackie O'Neill, Dwayne Webster, and then Jackie O'Neill, 2 fine coaches, and boy, has Coach Matt Johnson done a super job since he's taken over. And I also want to comment about Notasulga. There's one of those schools that I'm not going to get into the specifics, but I'm proud of what you coach. I'm proud of what you and your school system did to stand up, and I'm just going to say that. All right, you guys did it the right way, and I know God's proud of you. I'll bring to the microphone the head coach of the Reeltown Rebels, Coach Matt Johnson.
Thank you, D. Mark. And first off, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate this opportunity for us to have a platform for our program, for our high school athletics, and for the young people in this state. All the sponsors, everyone who has a part in this. It's always great to watch. Even as a coach and our players, we watch all the coaches and teams that come before. It's real enjoyment. So we really appreciate all the hard work and the planning that goes into this. Because, that's what high school athletics is all about, is promoting our young people and giving them an opportunity to be successful. First off, the state of our program, really pleased with our guys. As everyone that's come before me has said, this has been a real unique summer. A lot of differences, that we've had to do, a lot of hurdles we've had to jump over. But, we're to the point where we'll do whatever we got to do to play football on August 20th. So saying that, one of the mottos that we've always said since I've been there is to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And we've had to do a lot of that since shutdown back in March, and then we were having the opportunity to come back in summer. So the resiliency and the overcoming adversity that these guys have been able to do this summer, I'm extremely proud of them. Not just these guys, all across the state, the coaches, and everybody who's been a part of this rhetoric of doing what it takes for us to be able to play high school football and give these kids an opportunity to do that. There's not been a lot of negative talk. And that's what it's been. It's been, we will do whatever it takes for our kids to be able to play. And it's like Coach Savary said yesterday, standing right here, is, for our kids to get their childhood back. And that's what we want more than anything. So that's what we're planning. Each and every day we're planning to be playing football and to start football August 20th, with our first game against a team that we haven't played in 17 years, I believe. And that's Tallahassee High School. It's a huge rivalry for us. It's a really, really big game. It's the first Thursday night of the year for competition. And there's a lot of build-up going into this game. And of course, first time we hadn't played in 17 years, we got to face a worldwide pandemic. But we're excited to get that game back on the schedule. Got a real good relationship with Coach Battles. This has been in the works for a while, and for us to be able to bring this game back means a lot to our community. I'd say both communities, but the schools are so close, it's really just one community. Some things that are a little bit different this year, we have moved up to 3A. That's the first time in history that Reeltown has made that jump. So we'll be participating in 3A football this year. And what comes with that is a little bit more difficult region play. Also, jumping from 2A to 3A and playing for the state championship last year makes it really tough to schedule football games. So we've got a really tough schedule, and that's at fault for our seniors last year and that team we had last year. So really proud of those guys. They set the bar real high for this group coming back. But got a tough schedule right out the gate, like I said, with Tallahassee. St. James the next week, that's another 4A team. And our other non-region opponent is Hopeful, which is a 5A team at the end of the year, week 10. And in the middle, we got our region games. Of course, we've got Childersburg, Catholic, Goshen, Trinity, Beulah, Dayville, and Pike County. Dayville, of course, has always been a game that we've played every year for a long time. That's a big county rivalry. Now they're in region play, so that adds a little more to that. But we're really excited about our schedule, really excited about this coming year. As I've said, last year's team really set the bar high. Super proud of those guys. That was a special group. That was a group that were freshmen when I came to Reeltown a few years ago. So they really developed and have really led this team in the right direction. Saying that, our senior class this year just continued to carry the torch. This has been, I think, a lot of it has to do with the shutdown, but I would think that a lot of it has to do with our leadership and the way that our summer has went so far with these seniors that I have with me today and the ones that aren't with us today. They've continued to lead and carry that torch in a positive direction. It's been one of the best summers we've had as far as work ethic, excitement, and the energy's been up. I think everybody's just tired of being around each other. We want to see somebody else and play some football and hit somebody. But with me today, this is 4 seniors, all leaders in our program. Each and every single one of them have done something. They have their own unique way of leading our team, and it's a massive impact to our locker room and when we take the field. I've got Johnny Brown over here. Johnny is all four of these guys are going to play both sides of the football. Johnny's a defensive back. He's a corner. He's got a lot of speed. He's long. 2 years ago, he was our leading receiver with receptions and yards. Last year, he was number 2 on the team in receiving. Of course, Eric Shaw graduating and being at South Carolina, expecting some big things out of Johnny Brown. He's a guy that we can move around and we'll try to get the ball to. L.J. Hill, he's the guy. He's a staple on both sides of the football as well, offense and defensive line. He's one of the strongest or the strongest players that we have in the weight room this summer, and he really embraces that role. These guys love the weight room, and as you can tell, and really expecting some big things out of LJ. He leads both sides of the front, offense and defensive line, and as you know, the type of football that we play and anybody plays, that's where it's won, is up front. So we really put a lot of stock in that and a lot of pride, and offense and defensive line is where the majority of our experience is going to come from. So we're really going to lean on those guys a lot. Over here to my left is Logan Lee. Logan's been a guy that we've put all over the place. Offensively, you know, we've put him at outside receiver. He's played some inside receiver. He's played fullback. He's played what we call our wire. Some people call it a sniffer or plug. And then defensively, he's been playing outside linebacker for us. He's a starter on both sides of the football last year and did a lot of big things for us. He's also a huge leader for us, and really expecting a lot of big things out of Logan. He's also in competition right now. We got a real good competition at quarterback. So he's also in that mix. And on my far left is Will Brooks. He had to deal with some injuries last year midway through the season, but he came along and really was a good player for us. Played a lot of reps. Was big in special teams, and also came in, played a lot of inside linebacker, outside linebacker. He just kind of fit all the modes, and I told him this year, hey, once again, you're going to have to learn every bit of it. So he's someone that's come in. He's playing a little bit of tight end for us. We can stick him at fullback some. We can play him at any one of our linebacker positions. He's somebody else who's also a leader. And these four guys, they lead the right way. You know, everybody's a leader, but they lead in the right way, and that's on and off the field and in the classroom. They really carry these guys in the right direction. So I'm real proud of them. I'm very proud to be at Reeltown High School and the community that we have, and it's just a blessing to be able to be around these young people every single day. And wish we could do it back in the spring so we know a little bit more of what we got, but the situation we're in, we're really looking forward to starting this season. So at this time, I'll take any questions or any questions for these young men.
Coach, I'd like to ask you a question. Last year you got your first dose of the Super 7, and I know being a part of that and helping you and your guys, it was a thrill. They always say the second time's a little better. Give us a little what you're thinking, because, hey, you went last year. Does that put extra pressure on you? Kind of how do you approach this year knowing, hey, we played for it last year?
Right. And that, absolutely, that's correct. We played for it last year. That was big to be a part of that for the first time as a head coach. And those guys and what they were able to accomplish last year was huge, because there was a lot of overcoming adversity for those guys. So lots of, they deserve all the recognition that they've got. But we also have to understand this year's team that we're not last year's team. So we're going to be different. Things are going to look different. The goals are still the same. We attack every single day. Our motto, we're all in, and it's level up. And so every day is just attacking that day. We're going to move forward to get to the state championship. There's a lot of things that has to happen. There's a lot of things that had to happen for us last year. Once you get in the playoff, anything could happen. But that's not something that we talk about a lot. We don't talk about state championships. We talk about doing what we have to do when we come in each and every day to exponentially become the best player that we can be for Reeltown High School every day we enter that locker room. So our belief is if we do that, then everything else will take care of itself.
Matt, you mentioned how tough it was to not have a spring and to kind of know more about, your group. And especially with quarterback, given that you didn't have a spring, but looking up to through the summer, when you're looking at different quarterbacks specifically, what are some of the things that you can look at and kind of gauge as far as, getting a feel for that battle and seeing who kind of is standing out?
Right. Well, in the summer we spend majority of June is just on fundamentals. We don't do a lot of install in June typically, but as you said, you know, without a spring, all the plans have to change a little bit. So you're implementing schemes, you're having to do new things with new players and whatnot. So the scheme has changed a little bit. We don't have a Cameron Faison out there running a 4-3 or Rasheed Wilson or Eric Shaw that's 6'5" and at South Carolina. So some things are different. The way we approach, you know, our schemes on both sides of the football has to change. So at the quarterback position, that's a good question, because majority of what we do, there's a lot of footwork that's a little bit different, and there's a lot of time that has to go in those fundamentals. So it's getting to a point, and with these guidelines, it's trying to be creative and figure out how we can get, you know, a quarterback running back mesh, how we can work 7-on-7 and have a defense over there, and at the same time doing what we have to do to stay safe. So we've had to be creative with it and maximize our reps and maximize our time. There's been a lot of chalk talk on the board and a lot of teaching, but I feel like that we've narrowed it down. We've got, you know, 3 or 4 guys back there that are maximizing their reps, and we've got a couple that's kind of come to the top, and it's going to be real exciting. I feel real comfortable there.
Question for all 4 of the players, so y'all can just take turns. But you know, with Dadeville coming up and now being in y'all's region, that's a big rivalry. What does that rivalry mean to you in general? And is there something a little extra knowing that it could determine the playoffs this year?
Well, for us, it's really, we just take it game by game. We really wouldn't really focus on just being a rivalry. It's just like, it's for the fans, so we're just going for the next game. That's all it is.
For us, I really don't focus on the opponent. I focus on me and the team. You know, just take it day by day, like Will said. I really don't just focus on us in our game and get better every day.
Yeah, it's just like they said, and yeah, we try to work with us. Like, we try to get better at us. We don't focus on the opponent, but Dadeville game's always a fun game, and it's going to be for homecoming this year. So, and it's late in the season, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, mainly they said everything. So we just gonna focus on ourselves, show up to play, all gas, no break, and just work, keep working.
About the first time in 17 seasons you play Tallahassee. Same question, whoever wants to jump up. There's got to be a little extra motivation for that game, I know.
It's been a minute since I played Tallahassee. The last time I played them, I was in Little League. But about this, I'm not focusing on Tallahassee. I'm focusing on my team. I know it's going to be a good game. It's going to be the atmosphere is going to be there, but it wouldn't change me or my team, because I know, like the championship or Leroy game, the atmosphere was there, so we went and fold in that situation. But I know it's going to be a good game, and I expect us to step up.
Question for Logan. Given that you're one of the guys competing for quarterback, just through the offseason, what are some things that you feel like you've done to try to, you know, set yourself apart as you go for that battle?
Well, both of us, or all of us that are going for quarterback, you know, we all try to do what coaches tell us to do, and we try to get better, and it don't really matter. We don't care who's going to be quarterback. We just want to we want to be the best for the team, so it really don't matter.
A question for Coach. You know, we talked about Cameron Faison, how good he was at running back, but he was also such a good defensive back for you guys. You mentioned Johnny. Who are some of the other guys in the mix in the secondary that you guys are excited about?
Right. Well, as I mentioned earlier, you know, up front, offense and defensive line, that's where our most experience is, and that's where we feel like we really got to lean on. But On the defensive side of the football, defensive line, obviously, like I just said, but probably number two is secondary, or either a 1A, 1B type thing. Our secondary, we really feel good about it. We've got, even though we're replacing a lot, Cameron Faison, like you said, is an unbelievable athlete. You can't replace a Cameron Faison. You can't replace a Rasheed Wilson. So we can't replace those guys, but we've got guys that are stepping up, may have a different skill set. Johnny Brown he was a starter last year at cornerback. We've got Marcus Haynes, who's a long young man who moves really well and really understands our scheme and understands what we want to do. We've got Gabe Bryant, Zantoine Knight, Zy Collins, Markevius Smith. All those guys have got quality reps in those positions on the defensive side of the football and in the defensive backfield. Along with that, we've got a Coach Solomon, who coaches our defensive backs, is as attentive to detail as anybody we've got on staff. So the job that he does, along with our schemes, these guys, it's been the same for 4 to 5 years. So they understand what we're asking them to do, and that's a really good question, because we are missing a lot, and we lost a lot to graduation at that position. But I'm really excited to see what our secondary is going to do.
What has all the attention that the players got last year done for Reeltown? I know you get exposure, the school gets exposure, college coaches come in.
That's a good question. We've got 4 guys that signed athletic scholarships to go on to the next level and play collegiate football. And each one of them's in a different situation right now. We've got some that's NAIA, some Division III, some Division I, some in JUCO. So their seasons are just all mixed up. But I stay in real close contact with those guys, because they did a phenomenal job carrying themselves on and off the field. And you got guys like that who do that on the field and do their job as well as off the field. They're going to get attention. Everybody's got good football players, but it's that combination of all of that that get the exposure and the attention. So we made a lot of road trips, went all over the nation last year, and extremely proud of those guys and what they brought to our program. So it does give exposure to our program. You meet a lot of people and a lot of contacts with different colleges and universities that does nothing but help these guys out. These upcoming guys, now we've got people who come in and out every day that they're able to, and I talk to a lot of guys every day that are interested in Reeltown football.
All right, Coach Johnson, good luck. Reeltown, appreciate y'all being here.
Appreciate y'all.
You're listening to Fox Sports 910 AM, 1310 AM, The Game, and WOTM TV right here on iHeartRadio. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel line.
While you're at home with family for the next few weeks, don't put off scheduling home repairs. Call Ox Foundation for a free estimate. With more time at home, you tend to notice things you haven't in the past. Mold and moisture in your basement or crawl space, uneven driveways, stair-step cracks in your exterior brick, uneven floors and doors. If your home is showing weakness, it's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Stay strong, Alabama.
Youth suicide. Don't want to talk about it? You should. Hi, I'm Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama. 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide have given clear warning signs. By knowing the warning signs associated with suicide and knowing how to help, you could save a life. Visit jasonfoundation.com and start learning how you can make a difference.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing. It's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people, avoid crowds, stay home if you can, wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Welcome back to the final day of the 2020 High School Media Days in East Alabama. We are at the Event Center in Opelika, downtown Opelika, and we're proud that we've been able to be here. Jared Bavaro and I will talk a little bit more after we listen to the Opelika Bulldogs. And now we're going to go to the podium and Van Riggs.
Welcome back. Fox Sports 9, 10, 13, 10 a.m. The Game High School Football Media Days. Just about to wrap it up. Our final school, Opelika High School, ready to take the stage here to wrap up High School Media Days for the third straight year. And we've got with us Coach Eric Speakman. He is entering his third season as head coach at Opelika High School. The Bulldogs made it to the fourth round of the playoffs last year, suffering a tough loss last year on the road. A very good Spanish Fort team who went on to play for the state championship. And in 3 seasons at Opelika, Coach Speakman and the Dogs have been 9-1 in region play and also won the region championship last year. So without further ado, please welcome up Coach Eric Speakman and the Opelika Bulldogs.
Hey, thank you. And I want to first say thank you guys for doing this. Y'all could have easily canceled this with all the stuff that's going on, but you know, it's great that you would take the time to put this on for these kids because it's all about promoting high school sports, and I've heard a lot of coaches say that, but just want to say thank you from the Opelika Bulldogs for putting this show on today. I'm going to start going back to March with our kids when we were put out of school for the pandemic. We started back then, it was going into our spring break, and so we kind of had a week to plan what we were going to do, thinking we were only going to be out for 2 weeks. So we gave the guys a workout that they could go home. We did Google Classroom, so all of them signed up for it, and we sent them a workout that they could do basically in their living room and get it done that way. Well, 2 weeks then turned into about 9 more weeks past that, going all the way till May. So we had to restructure our plan. We continued to work out with them. I say the coaches, you can look at most of our coaches, we didn't work out with them, but we at least sat there on Zoom with them. So Zoom was a great technology for us this past spring. So literally every position coach would get with his guys, they would turn on their cameras on their phone, and we would call out the workout for them. So the camera's on them showing us what they're doing. That way they're not cutting reps because we never wanted to cut reps. Then it went into May, and we basically did a virtual spring training. We used an app called Learn to Win that we purchased last year that allows us to send them video and drawings and all sorts of things that we can show them of an install that we would have done in the spring for offense and defense. So basically we did virtual spring training. And then we finally got to start back on June 8th. It's been a really good summer for us. It's been a lot different. Kind of goes back to the 80s and 90s of how we structured our June, basically with no football being involved. It was all just running and lifting. So we did that for 3 weeks, and then we got into July, and we finally started to get back into what we normally would be doing this time of year with some helmets on and then doing some 7-on-7 and some 11-on-11. getting some install done with offense and defense. We've got 35 seniors this year. It's a great senior class. Most of them have been playing since they were in 7th and 8th grade. Coming up with us. It's a really good group of kids. A lot of them have played a lot of football for us over the last 2 years with us going into the 3rd round and 4th round. A lot of them have been major contributors for us. On offense, we've got 10 offensive linemen that are seniors, so we'll have basically a 2 deep on our front on offense. Both of our running backs that accounted for close to 2,000 yards are back last year with J.D. Tolbert and Eric Watts. The biggest hole right now for us on offense is at quarterback, which is the biggest question everybody always has. And I can go ahead and tell you now, I don't know who the quarterback is. We may not know for a while. We've got 3 of them really fighting it out right now, and we may play all 3 of them early in the year. Without spring training to find out who can do it, we may have to wait till we get into week 2 or 3 to find that out. And then at the receiving position, we lost a lot of our yards at receiver last year, losing Omar and Marion and Jemias. But we got a young group coming in that I think is going to be really good. On defense, our front should be really good. We've got 4 seniors up front. Our linebacking crew, Kevin Lilly's here today. He's one of our senior linebackers. Our biggest hole on defense is in the secondary. We got 1 returning starter back there. But we do have a lot of guys that have played a lot of snaps on defense for us. So, we've done a pretty good job over the last 6 or 7 years of playing a lot of kids on Friday night. That way, when it comes time for them to be, we don't call them really starters. I mean, a starter is the guy that plays the first play. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be in the whole game. So we try to play a lot of kids and get them in the game and give them some experience. And that way, when it is time for them to play a major role, then they've had that experience. So we look forward to playing this year. I don't know what the schedule is right now. We were obviously one of the teams that lost a game with Callaway, with Georgia moving the season back 2 weeks. We're working right now with a few schools of possibly filling that game. We might have an open week, week 5. We may have an open week, week 0. We don't know yet. Possibility that we play 10 games, may play 9. We don't know. But the biggest thing we want to do is play. So if we played our region, we wouldn't care. We'll go on the road and play all 5 games, 6 games, however many they give us. We don't care. These kids just want to play. So I'll open it up to any questions, and then you can ask any of these guys. I brought Chris Epperson, one of our linemen, senior offensive lineman. He's our center. And then Will Beams is a receiver that's played our inside slot receiver, and he'll work some outside this year. Ja'Kai Stevens is a senior defensive lineman. And then Kevin Lilly, I mentioned earlier, is one of our senior linebackers. So I'll take any questions, and then we can give them some questions.
Coach, of course, this was the year of realignment. In my opinion, you're in the toughest region in all of 6A football. Can you go over some of the teams that's in your region so everybody will know?
Yes, sir. We picked up a completely new region. There's not a single team that was in our region last year that is with us again. So in East Alabama, we have Russell County and Valley and Opelika and Eufaula. So Eufaula played in the 2nd round last year. And then, of course, Valley was 5A. Russell County is an up-and-coming program with Coach Rose there. I think he was here yesterday or today. So those are our East Alabama schools. And then we got 4 Montgomery schools. Robert E. Lee dropped from 7A to 6A. And then we've got Carver, Lanier, and Park Crossing. So it's a very tough region, a lot of really good football teams. And then our non-region is right now currently Central and Auburn. I got a text yesterday from a school you might have heard of in the Birmingham area, Hoover, wanting to know if we wanted to play week 0. And I had to catch my breath there for a minute looking at possibly Hoover, Central, and Auburn as our non-region, but we don't care. We may do that. If it means playing, then we'll do it because our kids will play whoever, whenever.
Eric, you mentioned quarterback and said that, that could go into the season. But when you look at when you guys are able to put pads on, how important will that time be in kind of deciphering between the guys? And what are going to be some of the things that you guys as a coaching staff will be looking at between those quarterbacks during that time?
Yeah, the biggest thing is leadership and, who can lead the team. And then the second thing is toughness. You've got to have a tough quarterback. And all 3 of them can do it. It's just a matter of what guy is going to step up. It's kind of like our running back position was last year. Early in the year we were playing 5 running backs, 6 sometimes. And then we kind of finally settled in on 2 there at the end of the year. It may be that way without us having a spring where we could put them in pads and put them in a physical situation where it may take us a little while. And I'll be honest, I don't care if we play all 3 and all 3 can get the job done. If we're winning games with 3, we'll win the games with 3. If we win them with 2 or 1, it doesn't matter. So we're going to put the guy in that can get the job done.
This question's for Will. I know that the quarterback's kind of a question mark right now, but that senior group at wide receiver, what do you think you guys can do to help that new guy, whoever it will be, take that spot?
Yeah, the biggest thing is our run game is going to really help the quarterback position. Our offensive line and our run game is kind of, the seniors this year that can really pick that up. Last year it was our receiving group until we could figure out what we want to do with our running backs. It's kind of the opposite this year. But just making sure, Will being a senior leader on offense, making sure when the guy's in the game that we show confidence to whoever's in there that they're going to get the job done. And like I said, I don't care. My son's he's one of the 4, so I don't care who it is. If it's him, great. If it's one of the others, we don't care. We're going to play the best kid at that time.
I have a question for Chris. With your offensive lineman, James Dawson, leaving, he was one of your strong leaders up there, and you're going to have a new quarterback, not sure who it will be yet. How important is it for you to lead this group of core offensive linemen?
Oh, it's definitely a big responsibility, but I feel like I'm ready to take on, especially having a guy like James. He's pretty much my mentor all last year and the year before that. It's big shoes to fill, but I believe I can do it.
And how much chemistry would you say your offensive line has, going into the season?
Oh, we're close. I mean, we've been together since we were like 5 or 6. So, I mean, we're tight bonded, tight knit. I mean, we love each other. I mean, we play together. We know each other. I mean, get the job done.
Question for Will, sort of what they were talking about a minute ago with, not knowing who the quarterback is. How much do you kind of take it upon yourself and the other receivers to try to kind of pick up that slack for whoever winds up playing quarterback?
Well, yeah, I mean, last year we had Omar and Marion. Obviously, they had a lot of production. And this year we got a few younger guys, Grady, Bynum, Javante, a few, they're like sophomore, and they came from the basketball team. And so it's just really important to, keep them grounded because it's hard to learn a new offense when you play basketball your whole life and you come into football. So, yeah, I just got to stay on them, help them learn the playbook, and, help them get the chemistry right with the new QBs. So,
Will, what did you learn from Omar and those guys, those leaders at wide receiver last year? I know you played a lot, but those guys were big.
Yes, sir. Well, Omar and Marion, they knew not to complain when they didn't get the ball. They were good blockers, and they helped me realize that even if you're not getting the ball, you just got to keep going, got to keep blocking because a lot of our offense is the run game. Wide receivers got to do a lot of blocking. So,
this question is for Coach Speakman. You guys were heartbreakingly close to the state championship game last year. Has there been any lessons learned from that game that you're implementing for this season?
Probably the biggest lesson is tackle number 1 from Spanish Fort. Yeah, that was tough last year, going down there and playing against them. I think that the lesson learned was, we played hard, and that's what we always preach to our kids is play hard on every snap. And we did that last year. The kid made 3 great plays, and they beat us. I can't remember the score, 21 or 27-21, maybe something in that ballpark. But the biggest lesson is just keep playing hard. Come back this year. We've been with them a lot in June, but it's not been your normal June and July where we have big team meetings. I mean, we were together for the first time as a whole team today. We brought in our 10 o'clock group with us. We've been going basically 48 kids at a time. So it's kind of hard to get that one big team speech that we never had in March, April, May, and June, and now July. So, really that hasn't been brought up yet. I'm sure as we get into the season, those kind of things will be brought up.
A question for each of the players so y'all can just take turns. I mean, we were talking about y'all's schedule, and it's already tough. And, Coach is talking about maybe even adding someone like Hoover, so it could get even tougher. But what is the challenge like for you guys? How do you sort of embrace that, playing the best of the best each and every week?
Each year we try to go over just playing our game and just with defense, we just try to be the defense that we are. We don't try to, do anything special or anything that's not us. With offense, they're the same way. So we just play our football and we play our game, and we don't let anyone else interfere with what we have going on.
I think playing the tough opponents early in the year is really helpful because when you get to the playoffs, if you played Hoover and Central early, you've already played the best of the best, and so when you get to the playoffs, it's, you know what you're up against, and so I think it pays off later in the year. I think it paid off last year because we faced Auburn, Central, Callaway early, and so we knew we were going up against when we got to the playoffs.
For Coach Speakman, with all these positions still open or undetermined, I'm sure that also means a lot of kids are trying to rise up and take those spots. What's the competition been like for amongst the team to become the number one spot?
Yeah, it's been really good at every position, coming back this year. And we always preach that your job's never safe. If you don't do your job, your replacement will. So, we always try to get kids playing, and we've tried it. I said it earlier, we try to play a lot of kids too. So that keeps them involved in practice and motivated coming every day. But in those key positions, it's been really good. It's kind of funny. They start showing up every day at practice when they find out the job's on the line. So you don't have many absentees on those positions. And I'll say this, our attendance this summer has been great with these kids. On a time that they could have taken an excuse and used that towards, I can't come today. Obviously we've told them if you're sick, stay home, but it's been probably 90% to 92% attendance every day, and that's talking 110 kids throughout the day.
Question for Kevin. What's the challenge like? What does it take to play defense in Class 6A and, like we said, against the best of the best every week?
For us, what's it like? We're just going to put the best 11 guys on the field at all times. So if you can show up, work hard, and, do what you're supposed to do, you'll play. And our coaches do a great job of putting us in the best position possible for what we face. And, they put a lot of time in with us away from their families to make sure that we can do the right things on Friday night. And so you're going to be put in the best position possible to make the play or do what you need to do. So just show up, work hard, and do your job.
I got one for Ja'Kai. Ja'Kai, Opelika has been known for defense, especially on the defensive line. Talk about the unit you've got coming back and how confident you guys are this season.
My defensive line, we've been playing together since 7th grade. We got one added coming in 9th grade year. It was Trayvon Moore. He was originally a linebacker through middle school. But our chemistry is great. Like, we probably hung around each other since rec league ball. Like, we've all played the defensive side of the ball, even in rec league. So it's just knowing the defense and knowing how to maneuver through defense is just what makes us so close. Like, when one makes a play, feel like we all made the play. We're all happy for each other. It's never like an off, like I didn't get to play or, anything like that. If one gets the call, then everybody gets the call, and we just relay it to each other, and we're just all tight bonded with the defensive line.
I'm going to ask a question as a fan, but if Coach can address it or the players, feel free. This is going to be a strange year, and you don't know who's going to be in the stands. And I know that when I played in high school, the fans had a lot to do with jacking you up. You make a good play and the fans in the stands are going crazy and everybody on the sidelines going crazy. How are you going to keep that intensity up as a player? And Coach, how are you going to keep that intensity up if the stands are just parents? And I'm just throwing out worst case scenario here, but let's just go that direction.
Yeah, we've talked about that as an administration. Who do you let in? And I think our kids would show up if nobody was there. And if you've ever snuck into one of our practices sometimes are a little more heated than some of our games. Our kids get after it, and it doesn't take anybody in the stands. And I think a lot of that is going to come in these schools that have great seniors, great senior leadership that have been there. And this is their last year. This is all they have. Not many of them will get to play college football. So they're right now on a guaranteed 9 games. And I think if we took our seniors and asked all 35 of them, will you play in front of 12 coaches, they would say yes. And I don't think that will be an issue. Now, we would love to have the stadium full. Last year playing Auburn with a full stadium, you're right, it did. But I'll say this as a coach, I kind of like when it's real quiet because I can yell out there and tell them things that I want them to do that sometimes you can't do when the spirit of the South's behind you playing real loud. So we're hoping to play, whether it's with fans, without fans, half a stadium, whatever it is. Looking forward to you calling touchdown Bulldogs a couple times and the train horn that Mr. Beams bought us last year blowing. It'll be real loud this year if there's no fans in there. But, we just look forward. We just want to play at this point. So.
All right, Coach Speakman, I think that's it. We appreciate you guys being here. Thank y'all so much.
Well, we've finalized the last team on the third annual High School Media Days. Jerry, it's been a lot of fun.
It has, and getting excited. If you want some, again, I'm going to say this, 1 o'clock tomorrow, that press conference, you're going to get a lot of answers.
It'll be carried live. It'll be carried live on 9:10 a.m., 13:10 a.m. The Game, and on WOTM television. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Want to once again thank the Orthopedic Clinic for being a presenting sponsor, the title sponsor, and Frederick Dean Funeral Home, Economy Heating and Air, Auburn Bank, Butcher Paper Barbecue, Jeff Coat Trant Funeral Home, WOTM TV, Fox Sports. 9:10 a.m. The Game, 13:10 a.m. The Game, iHeartRadio. Be sure to stay tuned for Jerry and myself on 9:10, 13:10 a.m. The Game, and 97.7 Kicker FM during football season from 10 until 12. And we thank all of you for watching and being a part of this year. We look forward to being back with you again next year. With that, we're going to sign off. Goodbye, everybody.